and flies into the stands. Oh, what a play by Derek Jeter.
The 2-2. Driven deep to left field. Going back is Crosby, and the Red Sox lead 4-3.
That one's drilled deep to left field. The Yankees will win the game. That's one of the greatest games you will ever see. The Yankees win 5-4 in 13 innings, and they sweep the Boston Red Sox.
Malaya hits one high and deep to left. And there it is, the third home run of the night, and it ties up the ball game. The 2-2. Hit in the air to left. Manny running after it. That ball is off the scoreboard. Sheffield will score the go-ahead run. So more of the same for the Red Sox and the Yankees in this 2004 season. The Yankees finding a way to win.
Look out, A-Rod gets hit by the pitch, and he's having a long look out to Arroyo. Now Jason Varitek getting in between Rodriguez and Arroyo, and Rodriguez is really whooping, and now he's waving, and now we've got everybody on the field as A-Rod and Varitek are wrestling each other. The 3-1, a swing and a fly ball, deep right. Sheffield back, Sheffield at the wall, it's gone! Red Sox win! Bill Miller hits it out off Rivera, and the Red Sox win 11-10.
Now, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, available in high definition, is coming to you from Boston, where, at the Fleet Center, the Democratic Party is gathering to select its presidential candidate. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the conventional wisdom is this. The American pastime is not politics, it's baseball. And the local preoccupation is once again the Red Sox and the Yankees. Game 1 of the series, Fenway Friday. Both teams coming from behind at various points. Then in the ninth, in a tie game, Alex Rodriguez hitting a single against Keith Folk off the scoreboard in left. Yankees win the ball game 8-7. Then yesterday, Bronson Arroyo drills A-Rod with that pitch. A-Rod and Varitek get into it. Then the bench is empty, the bullpen's empty, and there are skirmishes all around the lot. Finally, ninth inning, Mariano Rivera tried to save a win. Couldn't do it. Bill Miller with this big home run and a spectacular comeback for the Red Sox. The series is even at a game apiece. We have just enjoyed the national anthem here at Fenway Park, and now we have a melding of the ball game and the Democratic National Convention, which starts here tomorrow. John Kerry, and I have it on good authority that he's going to get the nomination. He is throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to a veteran of the war in Afghanistan, Will Pumye, a veteran and a much decorated veteran from Afghanistan, who is also a native of Woburn, just outside Boston. So John Kerry makes his first appearance here in Boston, not at the convention at the Fleet Center, but right here at Fenway Park, prior to the Yankees and Red Sox rubber match of the 3-game series. And this is ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, not convention coverage. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by McDonald's. Tonight, the New York Yankees atop the American League East, and the Boston Red Sox second place in the East. And we are at venerable Fenway Park. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe. Joe Morgan, my partner for 15 years, is at Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies today, and we know he's having a great time. We send all of our congratulations to all those guys up there. But he's missing a lot of electricity, a lot of excitement here at Fenway. And Rick, I mean, yesterday, the bad blood in this long-time feud between these two ball clubs boiled over again. Now, do you anticipate that we'll have any carryover from that here tonight?
Well, we talked to both clubhouses, and they say no. But if you watched Alex Rodriguez walk into the ballpark tonight, they've booed every single move that he has made. But I think the key to the Red Sox is to forget about that fight and focus on the dramatic come-from-behind win yesterday against Mariano Rivera. This is a team that over the winter added Curt Schilling and Keith Folk to a ball club that came close to getting to the World Series. But you have to agree right now, they have underachieved up to this point. They're a lot like weak strands just kind of out floating in the air. But with the ability they have, you put those weak strands together, they could be a strong rope.
All right. Now, meanwhile, for the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez, the great superstar, now a Yankee. He got the winning hit here in the 9th inning on Friday, and then he was in the middle of all the controversy yesterday. But I know, Rick, you, along with a lot of other people, still feel that the heart and soul of this Yankee ball club is Derek Jeter.
Yeah, I do. Let me ask you something. Have you seen the Mel Gibson movie Braveheart?
Freedom! Yeah, I've seen it.
Absolutely.
I quote lines from it, yeah.
Mel Gibson's character was William Wallace, and to me, baseball's version of William Wallace is Derek Jeter, one of the great all-time leaders, a guy that will do absolutely anything it takes to win a ball game. He'll throw his face first into the stand. He'll go down the line to get an errant throw to make a relay to home plate to win a ball game. He's a guy, too, that more importantly to me is a leader. He'll get in the face of a teammate that's not right. A lot of times Joe Torre says when there's problems in that clubhouse, they never get to his office because of people like Derek Jeter.
All right, so Jeter's in there. A-Rod is in there. Jason Varitek is not in there. Maybe a casualty of the bad blood here yesterday. But one thing is for sure, it's the rubber match. It's the Yankees and the Red Sox at Fenway. And this place has been filled up for a long time in advance tonight. Jose Contreras on the mound for Boston. And he's been pitching extremely well lately since his family arrived from Cuba. And he's up against the enigmatic one, Derek Lowe. Lowe with a record of only 8-9. And they are going to need big things from Lowe, you would think, if they're going to make a run at it. And tonight it may begin. We'll be back for the first pitch.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by McDonald's. Brought to you by McDonald's.
At Fenway Park tonight, it's about batter's box, not ballot box. Foul lines, not party lines. But the us versus them of politics is very much a part of this game. Tonight is about allegiances to either the Bo Sox or the Yanks. Fans are out campaigning for their team. There's no place for pinstripes in Boston, no wearing Red Sox in New York.
I hate the Red Sox.
Get out of here, Yankee fan.
They're terrible, mean people.
They can go back to the Bronx. With the 6 world championships. It'll be worth all the pain and the agony just for that one moment of bliss.
I think I deserve a championship.
What are you going to worry about? They're cursed. Babe Ruth, Bucky Dent, Bill Butler, Aaron Boone. That was the most delightful home run I've ever seen in my life.
It's a love-hate relationship. I love the Red Sox. They apparently hate me.
They killed my grandfather, they killed my father, now they're coming after me. I'm thinking about more.
My lifetime, I'll be happy. We'll give them the 20th century. 21st century, Red Sox time.
Those are just my thoughts, you know? Who am I? Just a fan.
And there are Yankee fans and Red Sox fans elbow to elbow here at Fenway Park. But I have a feeling the Red Sox fans are outnumbering the Yankee fans by a considerable amount. As the Yankees and Red Sox are ready to play ball here, let's bring in our colleague Sam Ryan. Sam?
And, John, it's Derek Lowe back on the mound for the Sox tonight. Now, he's been bothered by blister problems on the thumb on his pitching hand. He said it's been so frustrating it actually cut his last start short to 5+ innings. I spoke with pitching coach Dave Wallace. He said usually with a blister on the thumb, it calluses over. But in Derek's case, that isn't happening because of the location, the way he's holding the ball. This is something Rick would be familiar with. So instead, they try to keep it soft by dipping it in hot paraffin wax. Trainer Jim Rowe told me this is something they used years ago, but somehow got away from it. He said it works so well, all the guys want to use it when they get some kind of bruise or something. They just dip their hand in the vat of hot wax, and it works for them. Gentlemen?
I wonder if you could do the same thing with vocal cords. All right, so Rick, you'll keep an eye on the fingers of Derek Lowe tonight.
Well, we'll be able to tell just by watching that sinking fastball. If there's no late movement to it, he's in trouble.
So here we go. Strike one to Kenny Lofton. Lofton was one of the 5 who were ejected in yesterday's ball game. Lofton and A-Rod of the Yankees. Varitek and Kapler of the Red Sox were ejected. And then later in the game, manager Terry Francona of the Red Sox was tossed out. That one is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to the veteran, Kenny Lofton. Lofton is hitting .299 for the Yankees. There's that sinking fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'd say he's going to be okay.
Lofton with Jeter and Sheffield to follow. and the 31-year-old right-hander Derek Lowe. And he's trying to figure out what's been the problem. That breaking ball has popped up foul and back out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, this guy 2 years ago was a 22-game winner, or 21-game winner. Last year he won 17 games. But so far this year, only 8 wins, and his ERA is up near 6. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kenny Lofton. And that one is up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alex Rodriguez hitting cleanup tonight. He's back in there after being ejected yesterday. That one is up the middle, and Lofton has a base hit. He's going to try for second, and he makes it. So Kenny Lofton catches the Red Sox sleeping a little bit, turning a single into a double. Let's take a look at the rest of the Yankees batting order now, brought to you by McDonald's. It'll be Jeter at shortstop coming up next. Sheffield in right. A-Rod hitting cleanup at third. Posada the catcher. Matsui in left hitting sixth. Bernie Williams the DH. Tony Clark at first with Giambi still out. And Enrique Wilson is at second base batting ninth, all up against Derek Lowe of the Red Sox. Well, Kenny Lofton looked like he shaved 10 years off his age there in that play.
You know, and he made the Boston Red Sox look like they basically have looked all year, which is flat. No reason whatsoever he should have been able to get to second base.
The bunt and a miss by Jeter. I was just already writing a single in my scorebook as he was sliding into second for a double.
Yeah, and I think maybe Johnny Damon had done that as well, but that was not what Lofton was thinking. I talked to Kenny before the game, and it was about 30 minutes before batting practice. He didn't even know if he was in the lineup or not. I think that might be one of Joe Torre's tactics to kind of keep people hungry and aggressive. You got an opportunity to play, make something happen. He's doing that right now.
So Kenny Lofton with a little flashback. Now Jeter again showing bunt. Back to Derek Lowe, and he just does get Jeter. Over to third base is Lofton.
That's one of those little things right there that a lot of times makes a big difference. You talk about productive outs, and that's what Derek Jeter is able to do in that second hole. He's not at 100% right now and won't be for a while. He's got a broken bone in his right hand. His shoulder continues to bother him. So instead of trying to do too much, he just simply moves the guy to third base and then turns it over to the big boys.
But I thought this was the American League. This is Fenway Park. They're playing little ball at Fenway Park.
They're trying to get into the head of Derek Lowe, and they're on their way doing that.
Here's Gary Sheffield, the RBI leader. So the Yankees are playing for the first run. They want to get ahead right away here against Lowe. And Sheffield has led the Yankees. He has 70 runs batted in. Even though he's got bursitis in his shoulder, he's got pain every day. But nonetheless, he's in there day after day. And that's outside from Lowe. 2-0. Sheffield can get an RBI here a lot of different ways. A base hit certainly would do it, but even a ground ball almost anywhere in the infield would get Lofton home. A fly ball could do it. Two and 0 the count. Alex Rodriguez is on deck. And that's off the outside. 3-0.
I think late in the ball game, this might not be a bad idea. You know the Yankees have grounded into a lot of double plays this year, but we're talking first inning right now. You can give up that 1 run and feel confident that Boston will score.
That one. And I'm thinking probably he didn't get the take sign that time. The 3-0.
I don't know that Joe Torre has a take sign anymore.
Hey, which guy are you going to give a take sign? Miguel Cairo, maybe.
And he's not in there tonight.
The Yankees, who on a daily basis, when everybody's healthy, 8 of their 9 starters are all guys who've been on all-star teams. That one is a pop-up. Lofton is tagging up. Damon, nobody gets it. And Lofton will score. 1-0. The Yankees are leading, and it's a very poor beginning for the Red Sox. They'll score that as a hit and an RBI for Sheffield.
Well, it was a ball that could have been caught by any one of 3 people. I think what Johnny Damon was trying to do here was to let Gabe Kapler get to that baseball because he had a better arm. Here's the K zone. Look at the late movement. You get Sheffield out in front. You get exactly what you want. But we've already seen the fact that Johnny Damon doesn't throw well. He was hoping that Kapler could get there and possibly keep Kenny Lofton from scoring. Kapler couldn't get there, and once again, you give away a base to the New York Yankees.
Immediately after that ball dropped, I looked up at the flags out there in center field to see what kind of wind we had playing tricks. But there's almost no wind at all blowing at Fenway. Apparently the Red Sox are playing tricks on themselves there. Here's Alex Rodriguez, and that is called a strike.
If you feel any wind, it's from the fact that the Red Sox fans are booing and blowing that air towards their team, and right now they deserve it.
A-Rod, 24 home runs, 4th best in the league. Even though he got off to a painfully slow start this year, his numbers are very representative. A slow chop, and that could well be a base hit, and is. And Miller unable to pick it up, but it wouldn't have mattered. A-Rod, who runs well, is going to get a base hit on that one anyway. Sheffield over to second.
This team is built to score runs, not so much to take runs away defensively as we look at Boston. Trot Nixon not out there in right field again. He was actually put on the disabled list with that quadricep injury again, but Johnny Damon is a guy out there that is a lot is expected of. You know, with Manny Ramirez in left field, you've got to cover some range there. Always difficult with the angles here at Fenway, and thus far tonight, Johnny's having a tough ball game.
1-0, the Yankees lead. And Derek Lowe saying, does this make me a mental case? I mean, that was his lament to the writers here. When he finally said, hey, when other guys have a bad game, you just say, well, they had a bad game. But I have bad games. You keep saying, I'm a mental case. Well, if he wasn't actually one before, maybe this inning could make him one, because nobody's hitting the ball hard against him. Lofton just a little roller up the middle for a single that he turned into a double. Jeter with a bunt. Sheffield with a pop-up that should have been caught, with Lofton staying at third, I might add. And now Rodriguez hits, what, a 55-foot top roller. Here is Posada, and that hits him right around the right knee. And now the bases are loaded.
No intention obviously meant there. And you need to figure out a way to get a ground ball and get that double play. Boston Red Sox on the year have given up more unearned runs than just about anybody in baseball. And it's amazing to look at the scoreboard right now. They've allowed a run. The bases are loaded to the Yankees. And it's hard to believe that they really haven't committed an error yet. But they certainly have given away a lot of opportunities for the Yankees to get a big lead.
Well, the same thing happened yesterday. The Red Sox actually committed 4 errors and had 2 or 3 other plays that were either could have been errors or mental mistakes, things like that. Now here is Matsui. Matsui, 288 average, 18 homers, 63 batted in, and it's a strike. And he has been a guy that Lowe cannot handle. Matsui 11 for 19 lifetime against Lowe, a 579 average against him. So here is Godzilla against Derek Lowe. With the bases loaded, only 1 out. The infield looking for the double play ball. Matsui backs away for a moment. See how they're playing it. Both Garcia Parra at shortstop and the second baseman. Mark Bellhorn shaded toward the middle a little bit and pulled in a bit to double play deck. 1 strike to count. Fenway is very quiet right now. The fans here having a hard time gathering in all the bizarre things that have happened in this inning.
Yeah, the fans are confused, and also some confusion between Derek Lowe and Doug Mirabelli, who was catching tonight. Mirabelli is normally a guy that catches Tim Wakefield, but during the ruckus yesterday with Alex Rodriguez, Jason Varitek injured his right wrist. He had to call the trainer this morning saying, I won't be able to go. He went and got x-rays. The x-rays came back negative. We actually got that report right before the ball game started. You have to wonder, too, if Trot Nixon was not injured in that ruckus as well. Both of them not in the lineup.
And a called strikeout to Matsui. So quickly, no balls and 2 strikes to Matsui. The bases are loaded. Sheffield, who hit that pop-up that nobody caught, is at third. Rodriguez with the infield roller for a hit at second, and Posada got hit by the pitch at first. Yankees threatening a big inning right away. And that's off the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, he got ahead of Lofton, the leadoff hitter, at 0-2, and could not put him away. Finally, Lofton hit a base hit to center.
He didn't have the ability really to put people away. Derek Lowe gets confused sometimes thinking that he's a strikeout pitcher. And you're exactly right, John. That's what happened with Lofton. He went to the breaking ball. He went to a 4-seam fastball. He just needs to continue to pound that sinker to both sides of the plate, changing speeds. Get some more ground balls.
Off the outside again. 2-2 the count. Trying to get that ground ball, and the ground ball is especially for Derek Lowe. Terry Francona, his manager, looking on from the dugout. Pensive moments for the Red Sox. The Yankees with the bases loaded, 1 out. 2-2. And now 3-2.
See what I mean? This is what Derek Lowe has been doing all year long. He had the perfect game plan to begin with, and then all of a sudden he started thinking that he was Pedro Martinez or Curt Schilling. He is not a strikeout guy. Even if your defense continues to let them down, you have to continue to throw strikes and get balls hit.
3-2. Into center. Johnny Damon going back on this one. Still going back. Jumps up. He's got it. Sheffield will tag up and score. The other runners go back. Johnny Damon with a leaping catch out there as Matsui almost started a track meet. 2-0 Yankees.
I thought I was in a lot of trouble, you know, getting the opportunity to sit in once a year for Joe. I was the one that wanted to highlight Johnny Damon on defense. There's not a whole lot of other options with the Boston Red Sox, but he giveth and he taketh away. That is just a terrific play. Easily 2 runs would have scored, possibly 3. You would have still only had 1 out, more runners in scoring position. Now Derek Lowe needs to settle down, turn the page. You gave up 2 in the first, no big deal.
So Matsui, another run batted in for him. Number 64 for Matsui. Now Bernie Williams, the veteran. Bernie went through another long slump. There's a throw to first by Mirabelli, and just back in time is Posada ahead of the tag by Milton Millar, and that was close.
Even if it doesn't work, it makes you feel good as a starting pitcher that your catcher's trying to get you out of this jam. Take a look at Millar coming in there. The throw gets there a little bit quicker. He would have been out of the inning. Posada just barely back with that sore right leg from when he was hit by a pitch that put him down there first.
Bernie Williams, the 7th hitter of the inning for the Yankees. 1 strike the count. And off the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bernie, who was on the disabled list when the inning, or when the season started. Then when he was activated, it took him a while to get his bat going. Got it going, and then he got into another long slump here recently where he at one point he was 2 for 40. But the last couple of games, Bernie is hitting the ball well again. In fact, in this series, Bernie Williams has gone 4 for 10. You see, he was red hot in June, but in July, back into the doldrums. And up and away. 2-1 the count to Bernie Williams.
Now, in fact, in that month of June, he became the 7th New York Yankee ever with 2,000 career hits. So Bernie Williams, as we know, has had that uniform on for a while. He started out in this organization as a 16-year-old.
He's been a constant along with Jeter throughout this great run the Yankees have been on. High in the air along the left field line. Manny Ramirez into the corner. And in the doorway, he's got it. Nicely done by Manny Ramirez. Now, the power pitcher, Contreras to the mound with a 2-0 lead. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. We're at Fenway Park. The Yankees with a 2-run first inning. Could have been a lot worse. Now the Red Sox are coming up. And let's take a look at the Red Sox batting order brought to you by McDonald's. Johnny Damon in center field. And he's had an outstanding year. Mark Bellhorn at second gets a lot of walks. High on base average. David Ortiz, the DH, having a great year. Manny Ramirez, the left fielder, known for his offense. Not his glove, but a nice play a moment ago. Nomar. And Nomar's finally starting to come around. That average up to 324, hitting 400 in July. Kevin Millar having a huge weekend here. 3 homers on Friday, 4 hits yesterday. Bill Miller, the game-winning hit yesterday. He's at third base. Doug Mirabelli for the injured Jason Varitek, the catcher. Gabe Kapler for the injured Trot Nixon in right field. Red Sox, it's not been that long since they've really been healthy, and now guys are starting to get hurt again. And there is Jose Contreras, 4-0 since his wife and daughters rejoined him. They were apart for nearly 2 years. And Jorge Posada says, his catcher says, he thinks it's not any kind of a coincidence at all. There's a serenity about Contreras since his wife and family arrived that he had never seen before.
I think a big thing, too, John, we know that the players have come to the United States to play baseball from different countries, and some adjust easier than others do. Some never adjust, and that was a question and a concern that the Yankees had about Contreras. But ever since he went back to Florida with their pitching coach down in Tampa, Billy Connors, he's been a different guy. He came back with more confidence, and the reason he did is because he's changed his pitch selection. He now has what they call a surrender pitch. He's throwing that two-seam sinking fastball more and more.
I think you're the guy who named that pitch, aren't you? That's always your advice to pitcher. You need to have that pitch that you can go to every so often. Clark can't get it, but Enrique Wilson does. But safe at first is Damon, who is racing up the line. And as he slid into Contreras, Contreras couldn't handle the throw, and Damon is safe.
We got all kinds of things going on defensively. Terrific play on the part of Wilson. Clark not quite able to get there, but when your infielder ranges that far, the one thing as a pitcher you have to do is get to the bag. I think Contreras was surprised by the fact that Wilson was able to get there, and he was also surprised by Damon getting down that line as quick as he did.
So Contreras never even touched the ball, as you saw there. That one hit Johnny Damon right in the left hip. And so he is at first. And had not hit Damon at all, he might still be running. Here is Mark Bellhorn, switch hitter. And that's a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Contreras, a different kind of a pitcher than Derek Lowe. I mean, he throws hard. He's a power type pitcher.
And an outstanding split finger fastball. He gets most of his strikeouts on. But the one thing the two starters tonight have in common, you can run on them at will.
Damon is the Red Sox base stealing threat. That's down and in. 2-0 the count to Mark Bellhorn. We also should bring up here that we're talking about Contreras recently, and he's been doing extremely well here of late. But he has never done very well against the Red Sox. He earlier this year faced them a couple of times and got lit up early and had early exits each time. And the wild throw into the camera well. And Johnny Damon will be given second base on the error.
Torre trying to figure out what's going on here. Well, we talked about that surrender pitch, the sinking fastball. Contreras even has the ability to throw it to first base.
Well, now the manager, Terry Francona's out with the first base umpire, Mike Winters. And he may be lobbying for Damon to be able to go to third base here.
You know, they had a lengthy conversation in yesterday's ball game, Terry Francona and Mike Winters. Francona getting ejected.
Here's that pickoff. I think they're just throwing at Damon. No throw by the Yankees to first base has done anything except head for Damon yet.
So they're disguising that hit by pitch. Instead of hitting him at home plate, they're getting him back and forth.
Here is Bellhorn, and now it is 3-0. Man, what a weird first inning this is.
Well, I'm looking for Jeter to sneak in behind to try to pick him off there. Maybe they could hit him again, huh? This is that patience, John, you talked about with Bellhorn. Just a terrific on-base percentage.
374 on-base average. And that will go up a little bit. He gets the walk. 2 men on. And now the sluggers are coming up. Yankees 2, the Red Sox nothing. Last of the first inning. We're at Fenway Park, the rubber match of the series. Democratic presidential candidate John Kerry here tonight. And on the left side of the screen is John Glenn, also here watching the ball game. And in between the two of them, back from the war in Afghanistan, a much decorated military man from the Army. That is Mr. Pommier from Woburn. And John Kerry threw out the ceremonial first pitch to Pommier before the ball game. And the convention gets started tomorrow. But other than John Kerry and a handful of people here tonight, everybody else here is more focused on what's going on tonight. Here is David Ortiz, 87 runs batted in. 1-1. So he's not taken after a guy gets a 4-pitch walk.
When you get asked to be in the home run derby contest during the All-Star break, they don't want you up there taking RBI situations like this. This man has come through a lot since he put on that Red Sox jersey.
Ortiz second in the league in RBIs behind only Baltimore's Miguel Tejada. Manny Ramirez is on deck, is fourth in the league. And they have set things up nicely for the two of them. Damon at second, Bellhorn at first. 1 strike. Ortiz, who began last year playing on a platoon basis, and as the season went along, he began playing more and more. The last 162 games that he's played, look at those numbers: 48 homers and 145 runs batted in.
Well, the Yankees know about him. He hit 6 home runs last year versus Yankee pitching.
And it's 2-1. And we saw with Lowe in the top of the first that he was erratic, especially after he got ahead of a hitter. But right now, Contreras does not often seem to know where that ball is going. 2-1 the count. Johnny Damon is at second. There's Bellhorn at first. 2-1 to David Ortiz, extremely powerful hitter. And now it is 3-1. Manny Ramirez is on deck. I beg your pardon. The umpire called that a strike.
He took his time doing it, didn't he? I too thought it was a ball.
That's an umpire throwing at a broadcaster. I may have to take my revenge on Hunter Wendelstadt. 2-2 the count. Well, a high hard one. He fouled it back to the screen. So not the splitter that you might have expected with 2 strikes there from Contreras. He came after him. He challenged him.
Such good plate coverage by Ortiz. Even last year when Roger Clemens was with the Yankees, he talked about that. And his good buddy right behind him, Manny Ramirez. To me, this is one of the better spots in baseball to hit in. When you know Manny's behind you, you're going to get good pitches to hit.
There's the splitter, but taken by Ortiz. No swing, says Bruce Fleming on the appeal, the third base umpire. Full count now. Nobody out. Now you got the speedy Damon at second.
No. I know what you're going to ask. You do not send him. Reason being, obviously we talked about Manny Ramirez, but the main reason is that Ortiz is a left-handed hitter. Posada would have an easy shot making that throw to nail Damon at third base.
3-2 the count. So we're not looking for them to run. And they're not running. And the walk. They can walk up a base. So after the infield hit by Damon, both Bellhorn and Ortiz have drawn walks. Mel Stottlemyre looks like he might be headed out to the mound to visit with Contreras, but first a few words with manager Joe Torre. Manny Ramirez is coming up with the bases loaded.
About the Yankees defensively, again, a lot like Boston, not one of the better teams in the American League, but We know one thing. We remember back at the All-Star game in Seattle, Alex Rodriguez has played third base before. It was the year that Cal Ripken was voted in as a third baseman. A-Rod went from the shortstop position over to third base. Joe Torre telling Cal, get back to shortstop. We want you to play a half an inning there. But, John, I really think it's been remarkable the job defensively A-Rod has done at third base. It took him a while to get suited there, but working along with Derek Jeter hard in spring training, he's become above average third baseman.
Cal Ripken himself had predicted that it wouldn't take A-Rod that long to get acclimated at third base, not as hard a worker as he was. Cal made that transition both ways. Starting as a third baseman in the big leagues, and Earl Weaver moved him to short, and then many, many years later, moving from short over to third.
Oh, and the Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt came up through the minor leagues as a shortstop, and we know he finished his career at that third base bat.
So now, the Red Sox thinking big inning. The fans chanting Manny. 80 runs batted in, but he has not been productive in this series as Contreras steps off the slab. Manny has only 1 hit in 9 at-bats in this series. Two nothing. The Yankees lead. Never has, or seldom has, so much happened with so little hard contact being made by hitters. Manny takes it, and it's a little bit inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Ramirez with 15 grand slams. So he's moving up that all-time list.
I think every number you look at with Manny Ramirez offensively starts with a 3. Runners in scoring position, bases loaded, left-handed, right-handed. It doesn't matter. This is just one of the best offensive weapons in all of baseball.
And that wall in left field looks so close when a guy like Manny Ramirez is standing in. And a little bit of a breeze is picked up now, blowing out to left field. Damon, Bellhorn, and Ortiz, the 3 runners. Nice pickup. A-Rod home. They get to Forsythe. Hunter Wendelstedt said that Posada kept his foot on the plate.
To me, there's no question A-Rod made the right play. I'm just not sure that Posada was able to hang on to that plate. He kind of got crossed up with his footwork. That's a terrific range right there. And then, you know, once you went to the ground, you could not. Boy, that's terrific. He might have kept a toenail on the corner of that bag. But once A-Rod goes down, he knows he's not going to complete the double play by going to second base and then first. Posada just trying to hang on. The throw was down the line. A-Rod did not want to hit the runner, Johnny Damon. And a huge, huge out for Contreras and an opportunity to get out of this.
Nomar, and it's 0-1. Nomar, always a free swinger. Garcia Parra hitting over 300 with men in scoring position. He is hitting .403 in the month of July. Nomar has had 4 hits in 9 at-bats in this series. Bases loaded, 1 out. 2-0 Yankees.
Take a look at this one more time. Well, I mean, Hunter Wendelstedt had the best position to make that call of any of us, but you can see him just trying to drag his knee, his leg, everything. That's a terrific play all the way around and a good call. Not a popular call here in Boston.
Fans were sure he had come off the plate, but the slow motion replay says otherwise. 0-2. Nomar, a defensive swing there, and that fastball away, fouling it back under the rooftop. The Yankees got 2 runs in the first inning with a variety of rollers and bunts and drop pop-ups, hit batsmen. The Red Sox, meanwhile, have the bases loaded with Bellhorn, Ortiz, and Ramirez with an infield hit and a couple of walks. And caught in left field by Matsui. And Bellhorn will not test him. A one-hop throw right there. So neither Ramirez nor Garcia Parra able to get anybody home.
Yeah, but is there anybody hotter in this series than the guy coming to home plate?
Number 15.
So now it's left up to the rally karaoke guy.
Let's cowboy up, as Kevin Millar said most of last year.
I mean, he was having just a rotten season, but in this series, 3 home runs in the game Friday and a 4-hit game here yesterday, and he is 7 for 9 in the series. Three men on, 2 men out, and you can hear again, all of a sudden Fenway is very, very quiet. Contreras trying to get out of a terrible jam. 0-1. Kevin Millar, who last year, he got a lot of credit for keeping guys loose in the clubhouse, bringing the clubhouse together, making this a very tight-knit group by the time the postseason rolled around. Jason Varitek not able to play, injured in that brawl yesterday. Shallow center, lofted in a hurry. Base hit. Bellhorn scores. The throw offline, tied up. Ortiz with a slide to tie it up. And Millar cowboys up.
Absolutely on fire right now, and at the perfect time to fire up this team that has seemed flat all year long, the Boston Red Sox. Contreras with an opportunity to get out of that. Take a look at the pitch, outer half. There's the K zone. Look at that. I mean, that's a pitch right there that you want to make as a pitcher. You hope that they take a swing at that. He did. He was able to hit it just far enough to get it over the infield, just in front of the charging Kenny Lofton, and we are right back where we started with a tie ball game.
And what did you think of the form on the slide there by Ortiz?
Terrific. Wasn't it pretty?
Like he was having a brawl all by himself there. 1 ball and no strikes to Bill Miller, yesterday's hero. Miller, the batting champion in the league last year, got hurt early on this year, and it took him a while to get his bat going, but yesterday he did something that had only been done one other time, a game-ending home run against Mariano Rivera. Throw down to second, Jeter covering, but back to the bag is Manny.
As well as he's pitched as of late, we talk about winning 8 of his last 9 decisions. This is a team that he has to beat. Most people figure that these two once again will hook up in the postseason. Those numbers indicate Contreras might not be a part of it.
Right this second, Enrique Wilson, and that is the inning. So, an almost preposterous first inning, and we're still tied. Yanks 2, Red Sox 2. We start the second inning. Tony Clark hitting 8th in the Yankees order, leads off against Derek Lowe. That's sent in at the knees for a called strike. Tony Clark in there rather than Jason Giambi. They still don't know what's wrong with Giambi, but he had that parasite that caused him to grow exceedingly weak, and he has not been able to get his strength back even yet. He played most of the game here Friday, and finally he just ran out of steam, and Joe Torre had to get him out of there. Gave him yesterday off. He went through a battery of tests earlier this week. A lot of things have already been shown not to be there, but the last couple of tests should be coming in. The results of those tests Monday and Tuesday, and they're hoping to know more then. So, I mean, they mainly want to know what they can do to get it back to full strength.
Manager Joe Torre has talked about how important Jason Giambi is to have in the middle of that lineup.
Good slider from Lowe, and he gets the strikeout. Tony Clark out number 1. First inning of this ball game, about the only guys who did poorly in the first inning among hitters were the guys who hit the ball hard. If you hit a pop-up or an infield bouncer, you were rewarded. 4 runs ended up scoring, but neither pitcher has really been touched up yet.
I think we're getting an idea of why these are 2 of the bottom 4 pitchers in innings pitched per start. Derek Lowe with the second fewest innings per start, the fourth fewest. Contreras is the second fewest, and the guy who had the fewest that was leading was Pat Hinken, and
he retired.
He just retired. These guys aren't going to retire, though.
They also may not go 9. Enrique Wilson, the hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. They're low through 26 pitches in the first inning, and Contreras threw 24 pitches. And really, I'd have seen, even though both of them gave up 2 runs in the first, all things considered, they did extremely well to make it only 2 runs. Because a lot of things were happening while guys were not hitting the ball well to get them in a lot of trouble.
I agree with you, but the only difference, I think Contreras put himself in trouble by not getting to the first base bag in time on the ball hit by Johnny Damon.
2-1 the count. Hit by Damon that should have been an out. Somehow they should have gotten him out. Then he walked 2 straight hitters. Lowe, meanwhile, he was getting pop-ups that weren't caught, little top rollers that turned into base hits. Katie Couric is here from the Today Show, getting ready for the Democratic Convention that starts tomorrow in Boston.
There's not a much tougher ticket in baseball to get than one here at Fenway.
That's a base hit for Kenny Lofton, and he is 2 for 2. Kenny Lofton, he knows how to ratchet it up a few notches in prime time. I mean, he's been on a lot of outstanding ball clubs, a lot of postseason experience. He's been the igniter at the top of the order for a lot of excellent ball clubs.
It was a terrific pickup for the Chicago Cubs last year, filling in at that leadoff position, and also, as usual, playing a solid center field.
The Cubs get it to the postseason last year, and the year before he helped the San Francisco Giants get to the World Series. Here's Derek Jeter. He had a sacrifice bunt in the first inning.
We're supposed to see a different Derek Lowe here with speed on the base pad. 20 for 21 in stolen base attempts this year. He's supposed to be quicker.
Right center field. Damon and Kapler. It's Kapler. And that is the inning. 1 hit, 1 left. When we come back, a look at one of the great moments of the last 15 years of Major League Baseball coverage right here on ESPN.
Most improbable games where you would end up in the 7th inning and no hits for the Yankees. Jeter goes down swinging. 1, 2, 3 inning. Matsui up. 2 down. 9th inning. Grounder could be the first. Combined no hitter with 5 more. It is. The Houston Astros have pitched a no hitter against the Yankees for the first time in 44 years, and they went through almost the entire bullpen to do it.
There's John Kerry talking to Larry Lucchino, the president of the Boston Red Sox. As John Kerry here, along with all of these Democrats and Ben Affleck, who's, as I understand it, he's supposed to be a speaker at the convention. He's a native of this area, a great Red Sox fan.
He's always got that hat on, doesn't he? With different hats, but all of them with a B on it.
And there is Mirabelli taking the slider for a strike. Mirabelli in there for the injured Varitek. Then Kapler to follow. And Johnny Damon due up third in the inning. 2-2 the score last of the second inning. Doug Mirabelli hitting .287. He got 7 home runs and only 87 at bats. So I don't think they give trophies for best backup catcher, but maybe we can have an Espn for that next year, because he's a very strong defensive catcher, strong arm,
like that supporting actor kind of thing. You know,
best backup catcher on a pennant contender.
He reminds me a lot of what Tony Clark has done, filling in for Jason Giambi at first base.
Best backup first baseman. There you go, on a pennant contender.
With power, though, we need power. Clark's got 10 homers, and you talked about Mirabelli with 7.
And the winner is.
Gonna have to watch the ESPYs next year to see that. I don't know. I don't have the envelope.
This is the Sutcliffe, we'll call it. Tony Clark.
I will be presenting that next year.
And Doug Mirabelli, Best Backup Catcher Award. The Sutcliffe Award. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe. Joe Morgan's up in Cooperstown at the Hall of Fame. Inductions today. I think all the Hall of Famers are having that big dinner party where you have to be a Hall of Famer to go.
Yeah, it's just been. Well, you'd like to have an ear in there, wouldn't you?
Congratulations to Paul Molitor and Dennis Eckersley. Well deserved. Also, Murray Chass, the baseball writer of the New York Times. He won the Spink Award. And also Lon Simmons, the great voice of the San Francisco Giants for so many years. He won the Ford C. Frick Award. Dennis Eckersley, Paul Molitor, into the Hall of Fame. Murray Chass of the Times, and Lon Simmons. I grew up listening to Lon Simmons and his partner.
Tell it
Russ
goodbye?
Hopkins. Yeah.
That guy, huh?
Giants home run. Willie Mays hit one. He'd say, tell it goodbye. And Mirabelli hit by that pitch. And I thought he took one for the team right there.
He wasn't in any hurry to get out of the way of that. It was an off-speed pitch, that split-finger fastball. Got away from Contreras, and Mirabelli said, hey, you got 2 strikes on me. I will happily take that little 90-foot stroll down to first base. There it is. You can see really not a whole lot on it, and nor did, Mirabelli kind of turned, but he really didn't move away from that pitch. And John, I want to take a moment to clarify something. Glenn Geffner, the public relations man for the Red Sox, came in and said Trot Nixon was not hurt in that brawl yesterday. It was the same injury that he's had most of this year with that quadricep.
Here's Gabe Kapler, and that's a strike on the inside.
That's really a huge blow for Boston, too. Trot with a career year last year, home runs. It looks like he was just coming into the prime of his best years, and just to have injuries take a lot of playing time away from this year just makes it more difficult on that man.
Gabe Kapler, 267 average, 4 homers, 17 batted in. That's a base hit. A hanging slider cut off on the warning track by Matsui, and he keeps Mirabelli, who's not a fast runner, from even thinking about going to third base.
I'm guessing the K-zone will tell the whole story on that ball. When they get hit that hard, normally they find the heart of the plate, and then they find the big part of the bat. A little hanging breaking ball, thigh high. You see the contact made right out in front of home plate. That's a terrific jump on the part of Matsui in left field, though, to keep that ball from the green monster out there and keep Mirabelli at second base.
So Matsui, who does a lot of things well. There's Mirabelli now at second with Kapler at first. And Contreras facing Johnny Damon, who got that infield hit. And Contreras was late covering at first base. That started Boston's 2-run first inning. It's 2-2, last of the second. And you see how the Yankees infield, they're pulled in. Third baseman A-Rod is pulled well in. Damon could drop down a bunt. He's got excellent speed. And gets up and away. The other hand, he's been, although he slowed down there for a while, the last several days, but he's been one of the hottest hitters in the league for the last 4 to 6 weeks.
He loves hitting in this ballpark.
2-0 the count. Contreras in all kinds of trouble again. Down the line, foul. Past Tony Clark and just foul.
I don't think so. I was wrong on Posada hanging on with his left foot to touch the plate on the throw from A-Rod. This looks like it went right over the bag here. There it comes down the line. Clearly fair at that point. Did it go over the corner of that bag? I thought so. Johnny Damon thought so. The crowd thought so. But Mike Winters was the only one whose opinion counted.
And Lynn Jones, the first base coach for Boston, went over and talked to Winters a little bit. Johnny Damon. 2 men on, nobody out. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count. Now 3-1. Bellhorn on deck. We saw Jeter bunt for a sacrifice as the second batter of the whole game.
Yeah, you're not going to see Boston do that, are you?
Boston has had 8 sacrifice bunts all year, and 5 of those by Pokey Reese, who's on the disabled list now. The count. That ball is belted down the right field line toward the foul pole, and it hits the pole. A 3-run homer for Damon. Five to 2 Red Sox.
who needs a sacrifice bunt. When you got a leadoff man that already coming into the game tonight had 12 homers and 50 RBIs. Able to keep this one just fair, as we say, off the foul pole. Look at the crowd going crazy. Boy, easy to see. They have a chance to sell out.
A more reasonable distance in right field, that ball I think would have hooked foul easily. If it's 330 down the line, that ball would have hooked foul before it got to the foul pole.
So he was a pesky kind of hitter, I guess?
He was Johnny Pesky.
The peskiest of all hitters.
So 1 the count to Bellhorn. So Contreras. Now that pitch was a close one. It's 3-1 the count. And there's Johnny Pesky from Portland, Oregon. But he made a name for himself right here in New England. He even managed the Red Sox for a brief time when Don Zimmer got fired near the end of the 1980 season. That ball is hammered high and deep to right, headed for the Yankees bullpen. That ball is gone. Bellhorn with a long home run over the 380 marker. 6-2 Red Sox.
That total number of innings per start looks to even go down more for Jose Contreras. Back-to-back home runs by the first 2 hitters in the lineup for the Boston Red Sox. Joe Torre, pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre have to be frustrated.
David Ortiz. I mean, they got 4 runs home. Nobody out of the inning. And just now the big power hitters are coming up. Ortiz, 26 homers, 87 batted in. He walked his first time and scored a run. 1 inning plus for Contreras, 6 runs allowed. And hello. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Continuing to struggle against this ball club. Look at the 0-2 record. Look at the incredible ERA. And when you think about all of the other teams that he's faced, 15-2 with an ERA just over 3. So there is something about this club that they have got on Contreras.
1 ball, 1 strike. Popped up. Shallow left. Jeter out. Matsui in. Matsui gets there. And that is the first out of the 2nd inning. Boston ahead, 6-2. Bellhorn's home run. Now that is a home run in any ballpark. That's not an easy spot to hit a home run here. And Red Sox fan John Kerry, a native of Massachusetts, celebrating with the rest of the Red Sox fans here. And Jose Contreras has got It looks to me like he's got the makings of a serious headache. There's Felix Heredia, the left-hander, up in the Yankees bullpen now. I mean, in his previous 2 starts this year against Boston, there's a splitter. It's 0-1 to Manny Ramirez. He went 2 1/3 innings in one game and 3 1/3 in the other. Damon and Bellhorn, they'll be comparing notes on their home runs. Now you see, Mark, if I hit it out there where you hit yours, the guy's going to catch it maybe at the edge of the warning track. But I got to kind of aim for that foul pole if I'm going to go deep. High in the air, right center field. Sheffield, after a long run, right on the edge of the warning track in front of the Boston bullpen. That one's hit pretty well by Manny Ramirez to the opposite field. Manny is 0 for 2 in the game now. For the Yankees, one thing they know, I mean, Joe Torre got to have all the confidence in the world that, hey, it's only the second inning. We're down by 4. What's the big deal?
And I think that's why Derek Jeter came to the mound after the home run by Johnny Damon, saying this game is far from over. You need to start getting some people out.
Curveball to Garcia Parra, and it's 0-1. Garcia Parra lined out to left his first time.
We wondered if both teams before tonight's game might be warned with what happened yesterday with Alex Rodriguez and the brawl. We were not told, I wasn't anyway, of a warning. If Contreras maybe not letting that bother him a little bit. He needs to move some people off home plate and get some ground balls at somebody.
Well, he hung that breaking ball, and Nomar shoots it through the left side for a base hit. That's the 4th hit of the inning for the Red Sox. And now here comes Mel Stottlemyre, and he's going to head to the mound to talk with Contreras here. 14 Red Sox have batted in this game, and 9 of them have reached base. 2 down in the second, 6-2. The Red Sox are leading. Coming up tomorrow night from Cincinnati, the Cardinals and the Reds. Woody Williams will be going for the Cardinals up against Paul Wilson. Scott Rowland having the huge year along with Albert Pujols. Cardinals with the best record in the National League up against the Cincinnati Reds. Dave O'Brien, Jeff Brantley, Tony Gwynn, and Kyle Peterson will all be there to bring the ball game at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific from the great American Ballpark. Williams 7-6, Wilson 9-2. Williams, along with Matt Morris, figure to be the aces of the staff for the Cardinals. Williams has fewer wins than any of their starters right now. As Chris Carpenter's won 10 ball games, Jason Marquis got 10, Supan's got 9, and Matt Morris won his 11th today. Tim Russert here from NBC News. Hey, maybe we're going to be guests on Meet the Press. Tim, we're a little busy right now.
It may not be long before we play Meet the Bullpen New York Yankee style.
Here is Kevin Millar. 8 hits, 10 at-bats in the series. A 2-run single in the first inning tonight. And the slider low and outside. And he came through in the clutch. I mean, it was going to be a depressing inning. They had the bases loaded, nobody out, but Ramirez hit into a force play. Nomar flied out to left. But then with 2 down, Millar came through in the clutch with a single to center to tie up the ball game. Garcia Parra, the runner at first. Slider, 2-0.
I really think when Contreras looks back at this start, I mean, he brought a lot of this on himself. The 2 runs that scored on that base hit by Millar were 2 base on balls issued by Contreras. This inning started when he hit Doug Mirabelli with the pitch. So you take away those guys, you make them put it in play, things could be a lot different.
He had 2 strikes of Mirabelli. That was in there for a strike, but it wasn't particularly well thrown. Another hanger. 2-1 the count now. 52 pitches thrown by Contreras.
So much to do with confidence, and you have to have success to gain confidence, and that just has not happened for Contreras against Boston.
Fastball inside, 3-1. Bill Miller, yesterday's hero, is on deck. Now keep in mind, at 6-2 Boston, they jumped out to a 4-1 lead early here on Friday night with Curt Schilling on the mound. One of their aces, 12-game winner. And they lost that game. 3-1 the count. And a fastball in there for a strike. He ran it to the inside. There's Curt Schilling. And he was distraught, depressed about his inability. He did not survive the 6th inning of that game with that lead. A 5-run 6 for the Yankees put them ahead 7-4 and knocked Schilling out of the game. It's a game where A-Rod drove in the winning run in the 9th inning eventually. 3-2 the count. There goes the runner, the high drive down the left field line, hooking, and it's going to be foul onto the rooftop. Still 3-2 to Kevin Millar. Friday, Kevin Millar had his first 3-home run game. That was against Lieber. This one in the 6th inning against Quantrill, and finally against Flash Gordon in the 8th inning. And that was a big fly. And the last time the Red Sox had a player hit 3 in the same game, it was against the Yankees 7 years ago, and Mo Vaughn was the one to do it. But it goes, and that one is slashed foul into the seats in left.
And even with all of that, and Derek Jeter going 0 for 5, the Red Sox still lost. They were able to tag the closer for Boston, Keith Falk, with that loss. So, I mean, this series here has just been so much like the one we saw last October when these two teams hooked up. And I think most people predict that it could be these two again.
3-2. Garcia-Parra, the runner at first. 33rd pitch of the inning. High in the air, deep down the left field line, hooking again, and a foul again off into the night. Still 3-2. That was a long one. That was
nobody calls the foul home run better than you, buddy.
I'm a connoisseur of foul ball homers. I mean, but for a win, maybe blowing a little more strongly in the opposite direction. Carlton Fisk's famous home run could have been a foul ball.
Well, that's his problem. He's not doing the thing Fisk did at home plate when he hits it.
Look out. That got him. That's the second hit batsman of the inning by Contreras. Now a warning is being issued by the plate umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt, to both dugouts. Garcia-Parra over to second base. And Joe Choi is going to come out to chat with Hunter Wendelstedt.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened here. Baseball has talked to the umpires before the game tonight and said if anything even comes close to looking like trouble, you need to issue warnings right away. Well, when you throw at somebody, an umpire is supposed to determine whether there is intent involved or not. That was another split finger fastball. That was an off-speed pitch like the one that Doug Mirabelli got hit with. There's absolutely on the baseball. This is a guy on the mound that's just simply struggling. He's not throwing at anybody.
Torrey finally.
Home runs, and
so here is Bill Miller. He hit the home run against Mariano Rivera in the 9th inning yesterday to end the game. And that's too low. 1 ball and no strikes. Miller, he said he wasn't trying to hit a home run. Just wanted to hit the ball hard. I mean, guys almost always say that, don't they? But, I mean, Bill Miller's not a home run hitter.
Just trying to put a good swing on it.
Just trying to make solid contact. Yeah. He's the 9th hitter of this inning. Up the middle. There's Jeter. And Wilson gets the put out at second on Millar. The inning is at long last over. A 36-pitch nightmare for Contreras. Johnny Damon hit a 3-run homer off the Johnny Pesky foul pole in right field. 6-2 Red Sox.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by McDonald's. Brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
Democrats are descending upon the Fleet Center as we speak in preparation for the Democratic convention, which starts here tomorrow. A lot of them are here at Fenway Park tonight, including John Kerry. And I believe he's going to probably win the nomination for the Democratic.
You're going to go out on a limb here, huh?
Yeah. I mean, there used to be there were conventions where that was still an issue, right? I did a little, as Gary Sheffield pops one up behind the plate. Mirabelli back near the backstop. He's got it. Holding the mask in one hand and the one-handed catch. So that was a lot of confidence by Mirabelli. Why toss the mask away? I know I'm going to catch it.
Well, I think the main reason is because the fans are so close to the field here. He didn't know exactly where he was. I mean, you don't want to throw that thing into the crowd and hit somebody.
Now, Alex Rodriguez, as you mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, he was booed wherever he went, whatever he did before the ball game. And the slider from Derek Lowe misses. 1 ball, no strikes. A-Rod got an infield hit in the first inning. 6-2 Boston ahead. I mean, there's been so much action already in this game. And then you look at the scoreboard, only 7 innings left to go. Fastball misses. 2-0 now to A-Rod. Posada is on deck. The Yankees have had more comeback wins than any other team in the majors. You know, and sometimes you fall behind 1-0 in the first and you come back and win 12-1. That counts as a comeback. But most of theirs are not like that. I mean, they had some pitching problems. Strike 2 to Posada. And I was talking to Brian Cashman and Joe Torre before the game about that. When they got the news, there's Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, and they were hopeful that that was a good sign, because if everything did go well, when they talked to Brown later, that slider is in the dirt for a ball. Brown could return to the rotation as early as this coming Friday. And premature to say that now. Joe Torre did chat with Gene Michael, who was at the start, and got Gene Michael's assessment of how Brown looked.
Could there be a more appropriate name for the right-hand man for George Steinbrenner than Cash Man? I mean, that's it. That's why he got the job, isn't it? Oh, we know why he got the job. He is just outstanding. Done a terrific job putting all this together, and along with Joe Torre, just keeping that chemistry as positive as it's been.
2-2 to Posada, and that is a little bit low. 3-2. It's always about the money with you, isn't it? Cash man. Show me the money.
You know, Brian Cashman was talking today about how well the deal has worked out with Texas. Rangers obviously ecstatic with what they have with Soriano, and so are the New York Yankees.
Here's Posada getting a walk with 2 down. That'll bring up Matsui. Let's get an update now with Trey Wingo.
All right, John Lamiso brings you this update. For the 198th time in his career, Randy Johnson with double-digit strikeouts, 14 on the day, but it couldn't help the Rockies, the D-backs, lose their 14th straight. Was that his last start in Arizona? Back to you, guys.
All right. I asked Brian Cashman any news on the trade front, and he said, but if the trading deadline was today, then the Yankees would not be making any trades. Third, Mirabelli coming up, 6-2 Red Sox. Fenway Park. And we are heading to the last half of the third inning. The Red Sox with 2 in the first, 4 in the second. And they lead the Yankees 6-2. The Yanks jumped ahead with 2 of their own in the first inning. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe. Joe Morgan, my Hall of Fame partner, is at the Hall of Fame this weekend for induction weekend. And he'll rejoin us next Sunday night when we visit the beautiful home of the San Francisco Giants. Shores of San Francisco Bay. We'll look at Tony La Russa's ball club, the Cardinals, against Barry Bonds and the Giants.
Joe with 2 new buddies in that Hall of Fame now as far as former players. Congratulations as well to Dennis Eckersley and Paul Molitor.
There is Tony Clark, and he's got it right at the top step of the Red Sox dugout. And Mirabelli is out number 1 here in the third. Contreras needs to settle in. You mentioned, Ricky, seems to have a lack of confidence against the Red Sox, and why not? I mean, he's never succeeded against them. But even though he's given up 6 in 2 innings here, if he could go another 4 innings or so, give that bullpen a little bit of a breather, and this Yankee ball club is well capable of getting right back into this game. That's got to be tough for a pitcher to have that mindset. Here is Kapler. That's a strike. It's 0-1.
To me, the biggest thing for him early in the game was he didn't have control of really anything. And for a starting pitcher, most of the time, John, that starts with adrenaline. I mean, you see the Red Sox there. You know how important it is for the Yankees to beat that team. And he just wasn't able to control anything early. This may be a blessing in disguise right here. He may learn something about himself and also about this lineup. That, you don't have to throw 98 miles an hour to get people out. Just look at the location, the mistakes you made there, and improve on it. Maybe you can get deeper into the ball game, and you know that the Yankees have the ability to come back.
Gabe Kapler, the hitter, who ripped a single to left his first time as part of that 4-run second inning rally. That's a foul. Kapler was one of those who got ejected yesterday, and I think he was pretty astounded by that.
Really?
As he ended up sort of being hogtied by Tanyan Sturts. That was one of the highlights I saw in Baseball Tonight last night. That curveball chopped to third, and A-Rod throws him out. Clark just does get out of the way of that one. 2 men gone. The bat will be Damon. But that's where Ortiz and Trot Nixon both got involved, trying to get Sturts off of Kapler.
Back to the second inning there. There's Kapler. Take a look at the location here, or should I say lack of it. Everything pretty much centered. Nothing on the corners. I mean, this is a free swinging team. This is a team that strikes out a lot. And to get strikes and to get out, you don't have to throw as many pitches in the strike zone as Contreras has been doing.
Johnny Damon, right up the middle, base hit. Damon has been on 3 times tonight. An infield hit, a 3-run homer, and now this single. And he's had 7 hits and 13 at-bats in this series.
It's a good sign for Ron Jackson, the hitting coach for Boston, when your leadoff guy is 3 for 3 and you're still in the third inning, huh?
Pretty good coaching. Here is Mark Bellhorn, who has walked and scored a run. And he followed Damon's home run in the second inning with a long home run of his own. Back into the Yankees bullpen. Damon back to the back. All right, now this seems to me, this is a stolen base waiting to happen. Contreras, not that adept at holding runners on. Damon, a guy who can steal a bag. He got 12 steals for the year. 2 down. It's just the right time for him to go. Just back in time now. Slide by Johnny Damon.
You have to trust the guy with the bat in his hand here to steal a base. You know that if it's a fastball, it's going to get to home plate in a hurry. And Posada will have a chance to throw Damon out. If it's a fastball, Bellhorn has to protect him by swinging. Anything off speed, Damon should be able to do it on his own.
That was almost almost like a pitch out, that pitch.
That was one thing back with the Cubs that a lot of us, Dennis Eckersley, when he pitched there with Jody Davis, you would listen for the first baseman. And if you called the fastball away and he hollered right away, there he goes, you could kind of leave it out like Contreras did there and really turn what wasn't a pitch out into one that looked like one. And the guy that loved that was Don Zimmer because he was managing this back and made him look real smart. I mean, like he was never wrong.
And Zim called the pitch out at just the right time again.
Oh, he's incredible. Miss Zim around here, don't you, in the series room? Maybe Pedro Martinez doesn't, but I mean...
I saw Zim in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's a foul. Now it is 2 balls and a strike to Mark Bellhorn. David Ortiz would be next. Joe Torre's former bench coach, Don Zimmer. They've been together all those years ever since Torre became the manager of the Yankees. And Zim left in a huff. And now is an instructor and consultant to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
A lot of changes on that coaching staff for Joe Torre. Don Mattingly, Luis Sojo, Roy White.
Damon is running, and the ball is lifted along the left field line. A long run from Matsui. He gets there. And that ends the inning. Coming up now, Peter Gammons. And we'll have some talks about trade discussions, the trading deadline approaching. 6-2, the Red Sox lead the Yankees. Sunday Night Baseball from Fenway Park. Bernie Williams leading off against Derek Lowe. And Bernie takes 1 ball and no strikes. Bernie has gone 0 for 1 tonight. He flied out to left, and a beautiful catch made by Manny Ramirez in the doorway right along the left field line to end the first inning. Bernie, a career-long Yankee, and that misses inside again. 2 balls and no strike. Now, the trading deadline in Major League Baseball for trades to be consummated without players having passed through waivers first is next Saturday. And the man who always has his ear to the ground and forever is getting leads as to what kind of talks might be going on, are going on, things that might happen is our own Peter Gammons of Baseball Tonight and also ESPN.com. His column every week at ESPN.com is must-reading. And Peter, you're down in your box seats right behind home plate.
Yeah, it's just where I always watch games.
All right, now, what have you got? Are there some big trades on the horizons? Are the Yankees about to make a big... Is the big unit headed for the Big Apple?
Well, I don't think so. I talked to the Diamondbacks people yesterday, and they're going to report to Jerry Colangelo today that their essential report is that the Yankees don't have anybody that could help in the major leagues within 3 years. And if you're going to trade Randy Johnson, you've got to get something that can help you. So they're basically saying we have 1 deal we might be able to make. I think that's with Anaheim. And otherwise... You know, that's they're just going to say you're going to have to stay here in Arizona.
So you're thinking big unit, not in Yankee Stadium and not in Fenway?
No, not in Fenway either. He said all along that Boston is not a potential destination. And I was told by the people in the Arizona organization that essentially he said the only place he really wants to go if he's going to leave Arizona is New York.
All right, and as Tony Clark comes up, Bernie Williams back to the bag at first.
Peter, what about the next best pitcher we hear is available in Pittsburgh, Chris Benson?
Well, and as you know, the last 2 months he has been lights out, throwing the ball the way he did before he had surgery. I hear Minnesota, Philadelphia, Texas, the Mets, and I think that will happen. I think Dave Littlefield will take it right down to the end. I mean, people feel that he asked for a lot. Well, you know what? He's got the second best pitcher on the market. Why should he ask for a lot? Chris Benson's young. He can be signed, and he's very good. The Twins have the players. The question is, can they rearrange the money? There's been a lot of talk that Cavich could be traded, or the Red Sox have talked a lot about him. That would be to rearrange a little salary and also allow Justin Morneau to play.
Hey, we saw an item in the Boston Globe today that Derek Lowe could be traded. Lowe even himself saying he realizes that he could be traded, or several guys in this Red Sox clubhouse could be traded by the deadline. What do you think about Derek Lowe?
It's a possibility. I mean, they had talked a lot to the Cubs about trading Nomar Garcia-Parra there and then getting enough prospects to try to spin for either Randy Johnson or Kip Wells, but Kip Wells is simply not available. I don't think that's going to work with Nomar. And with Lowe, they'd have to find a comparable pitcher. The Phillies talked to him a little bit about Kevin Millwood, but the difference in salary makes him impossible to offer arbitration to. So the Red Sox decided, let's see if we can keep Lowe, at least get him back going again here, and see what happens in the next few days. Give us a chance to come back and contend in a division which isn't normally too strong.
All right, Clark has struck out. Enrique Wilson coming up now. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe. We're visiting with Peter Gammons of ESPN Baseball Tonight and the ESPN.com. Now, Peter, the reason I bring that up about Randy Johnson, I mean, there's a lot of wins he's not getting right now. A lot of great pitching that's going for naught. As our double play ball is hit the bell horn. There's one. Nomar to first. Two. A double play. And the inning is over. And Peter, we got to run. Many thanks for all the info.
Can I get you a hot dog or anything?
Yes. Lots of mustard. All right. Thanks, Peter. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by McDonald's. We're at Fenway Park in Boston. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe, Joe Morgan at the Hall of Fame this weekend. And the Red Sox with some heavy offense early, leading the Yankees 6-2. The Democratic National Convention is going to begin tomorrow here in Boston. There's Tom Brokaw, the longtime anchorman of the NBC Nightly News, along with Katie Couric of the Today Show, and John Kerry, who's going to be nominated as the Democrats' nominee for the presidential campaign. Also here tonight, he's a native of Massachusetts. Grew up in Lowell, just a little ways outside of Boston. And David Ortiz, who could probably win an election for mayor here in Boston right now, if he chose to run, leads off against Jose Contreras. We had Peter Gammons with us, and Peter, if you don't mind, I know you'd like to just sit and watch the ball game, but I had started to ask you, with Randy Johnson pitching so well and getting so little in return for it, but as you say, he's said only one ball club would he agree to go to, because he has a no trade, and that would be the Yankees. I mean, why say that? I mean, it seems like he could be happy in a lot of places and get a lot more wins in a lot of other places.
We can't have you go there. I think there's a possibility he'll expand that list. I really do. Because it is terribly frustrating. And Randy Johnson knows so much about the history of the game. I mean, he understands, all the different people who pitched in front of him. He goes back to Oklahoma to receive the Warren Spahn Award every year. He understands. He's in the Hall of Fame already. But, he wants to creep up closer to 300. And, that's on his mind. And it is very frustrating. It's not as if he's 28 years old anymore.
Peter Gammons, you got your column will be in the ESPN.com again tomorrow, the new one?
Yes, it will.
Okay. Check it out. Peter Gammons of Baseball Tonight at ESPN.com. And you can still read them on Sundays in the Boston Globe. There's a drive into right center. And over goes Sheffield. And Manny Ramirez is retired. That's a couple of deep fly balls into that part of the ballpark that Manny is hit. 2 down, nobody on. Here is Nomar Garcia-Parra. 6-2, the Red Sox lead the Yankees.
Seeing a little different Jose Contreras right now, than what we saw the first couple of innings, out there trying to blow people away with the fastball. He's pitching right now, and he's having some success doing that.
And he's awfully important. Obviously, the Yankees, we're talking about getting a Randy Johnson, but as Brian Cashman said before the game, he said, we're hoping to get Brown back maybe as early as Friday. Maybe Mike Messina in the next week or two. And you add those two guys And already, how much better are the Yankees than right today?
I think the Yankees, though, have to feel pretty comfortable where they're sitting right now. I think the biggest concern they would have is if Randy Johnson was able to put on that Red Sox uniform. I mean, you get Boston into the postseason, and you've got Pedro, Schilling, and the big unit. I don't care what kind of offense you've got. It's going to be difficult to score.
0-2 the count to Nomar. He's 1 for 2 in the game. And a fastball high and tight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, Contreras himself is a Yankee. And part of the impetus of how that all happened was that the Red Sox badly wanted him. They had their own sort of nuclear arms buildup between the Yankees and Red Sox these last 2 winters. That's a foul ball. Past Dale Swain, the third base coach.
Yeah, but if it comes down to money, Mr. Steinbrenner is not going to lose.
Well, and he got Contreras. He did not lose on Contreras. And if he wants him, he gets him.
Well, he's got the cash, man.
Brian,
I'm sorry.
Cash man.
I tried that the first time, and you didn't think it was real funny then.
I'm laughing. And Ricky Wilson throws out Nomar Garcia. Soon to be the official.
It doesn't get better than a night like this. And this rivalry obviously is special to all of us.
Now, again, I know you've been all over the country, but as Kenny Lofton stands in, but yesterday there was some bad blood between the Red Sox and the Yankees.
I was in Columbus, Ohio last night when that took place, but that was a brawl. That was a brawl. Not the first one, and probably not the last.
All right, now, I mean, when you see that, do you immediately get upset with the Yankees, or I mean?
No, it's part of the game. It's part of the great rivalry, and you know, when you get a pitch like that, and somebody's going to get upset, it happens. It's just the way it goes.
Now, Roger Clemens, a Red Sox, then a Yankee. I mean, he's definitely headed into the Hall of Fame. He's in Houston Astro now.
Yeah,
Should he be a Red Sox in terms of going into the Hall of Fame?
Well, obviously we think so, but there are people, even divided opinions here on that. There are a lot of folks who were upset when he left, needless to say, and he's had a funny relationship here. I think most people here have enormous respect. The guy is pitching incredibly. He's done it for years and years now. He helped the Red Sox in unbelievable ways so many times. And you know, even when he came back here and he was pitching for the other folks, you know, you could hear that taunt in Fenway Park, Roger, and you know, there's been a great sort of rivalry respect with him. I think people would like him to be where his record was really built.
Now we want to, as Kenny Lofton grounds out to Kevin Millar, one away here. Derek Jeter coming up next. We want to get your opinion on some of these, you know, serious issues, such as the designated hitter rule. Good rule, or should we get rid of it?
Never liked it. Never liked it.
All right. Now, should we keep it in just the American League like it is now, or should we just get rid of it altogether?
I personally, I don't like it. I've never liked the designated hitter rule.
Pete Rose, does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
Boy, I've been asked that in Ohio a whole bunch, and that's up to the writers. Let me tell you, I think probably that's pretty difficult.
So you're going to defer a final decision on that one, at least for now.
Well, I said it's pretty difficult. That's my judgment.
All right. Now, steroids in sports. There have been controversy in a lot of sports, but baseball it's been a big controversy. Is that going to be part of your platform running for president?
Well, it's not the centerpiece of my platform. Obviously, I'm talking about jobs and health care and education and making America safe and doing a better job in the war on terror. But steroids are bad. I mean, they're wrong. I think any kind of drug enhancement, any kind of blood doping, any of that in sports, it defeats what sports are really all about. And, I think we need to take steps to make sure that people aren't using those enhancements.
David Ortiz, could he be a part of your cabinet?
It depends what the commissioner decides in the next few days. I'm hoping he'll be right out here, and I'd love to welcome the World Series champion Red Sox to the White House when I have an opportunity to.
David Ortiz has been suspended as Derek Jeter strikes out on that low sinker from Derek Lowe.
I like that. That was good. We should keep talking. Good things are happening.
Derek Lowe may want you to follow him around every fifth day. Since that first inning, he's really settled down and pitched nicely.
Let me tell you, I was worried stiff in the beginning of that first inning. I said, oh, my God, if we don't do better than this, they'll think I jinxed this place.
Senator Kerry, the convention here in Boston, and this is the first of the big nominating conventions held since September the 11th. And, Boston is really unprecedented steps have been taken in terms of security.
Sure.
And your opinion on all of that?
We're going to be
just fine. Is that the way it's going to be in the future now? For these kind of big events?
For certain kinds of events, obviously, we have to take precautions, but we're going to be just fine. This city is going to operate as if it were normal. People are going to have a wonderful time here, and I'm absolutely confident about the level of security. I don't think we have anything to worry about.
But now let's say that I was a tourist and wanted to come from out of town to Boston.
Come to Boston. I'm serious. Come to Boston. The city's open, and we're going to have a great look at us tonight. 110th sellout at Fenway Park, and people are having a great time.
Now, who do you know to get a seat like that at Fenway?
I was very lucky. Tonight, the owners, John Henry and Larry Lucchino, Tom Warner, and everybody were very nice and opened up their box to us, and we're very grateful to them for that.
That was off the wall in left field, and it's a double for Gary Sheffield. And Senator Kerry, we appreciate you coming on with us tonight. And we've got the Red Sox and Yankees in Boston, the Democratic Convention in Boston, and we wish you all the best.
It's great to be with you. Thank you. Go Red Sox.
All right, Senator John Kerry, and he will soon officially be the nominee of the Democratic Party in the November elections. And again, our thanks to him for coming on.
Baseball fan. Obviously a big Boston fan. Boston baseball fans, not big A-Rod fans, particularly after what happened yesterday.
Alex Rodriguez, an infield single and a ground out to short. Gary Sheffield after his double over at second base. And that is a called strike. Some people think Bill Miller would make a very good president here at Fenway, anyway.
Well, that's somewhat equal time there, don't you think?
2 down, and Alex Rodriguez at the plate. So I was, as a kid, I always wanted to be Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
As a kid, I used to watch those conventions. But they used to show them all night. Tom Brokaw, he also wanted to be Walter Cronkite, and he turned out to be Walter Cronkite. So Tom Brokaw here, he'll be covering the convention. Peter Jennings on ABC News. That's going to be a base hit. The slow roller, one of the problems for being a sinker baller. Sometimes guys hit little top rollers and they get hits on it. That's the second time for A-Rod tonight. we talked about all of the security. They're expecting about 35,000 visitors to Boston this week for the convention. The most ambitious security operation ever mounted in New England at a cost of approximately $50 million. It's estimated that 3,000 local, state, and federal law enforcement officials will be here and are here.
How many? 3,000?
3,000. It's almost like your entourage.
Yeah. I'm just hoping to be able to get a cab in the morning to the airport. It's hard to move around this city. There is a lot of excitement here, though.
Now Jorge Posada, 2 men on, 2 men out. The Red Sox leading 6-2. And that's a fastball up and away. Posada, remember, had 30 home runs last year. 11 so far this year. He's not having the same kind of a year he had a year ago. He matched Yogi Berra's club record for homers in a season by a Yankee catcher. There's Yogi. I suppose Yogi's up in Cooperstown with Joe this weekend. That fastball in there for a strike. It was the 6th inning Friday when the Yankees made their move against Curt Schilling. Trailing 4-2 into the 6th, they scored 5 against Schilling to go ahead in that game.
You know, it was really a breakout year for Posada last year. He finished 3rd in the American League MVP, and manager Joe Torre said that he really thought he took charge more last year of the staff, and a conversation with Yogi Berra and also Ron Guidry, Joe Torre thought helped Jorge Posada in that direction.
Well, you know, he would have had my vote for the MVP in the American League. I would have gone Posada because I thought, I mean, A-Rod was deserving, but I thought being on a panic contending team as a catcher and putting up the numbers he did offensively, I thought that was the year for him to get that vote.
And he also put up big numbers against Boston, which you know how important that can be. Trying to do it again.
Backdoors into the slider just off the outside. 2-2 the count.
I love it when an umpire does not let the crowd dictate the call. Clearly outside the K zone there. A good job on the part of Hunter Wendelstedt once again. He's having a pretty good night.
Ben Affleck, Sox fan, trying to root on. Derek Lowe is back to the bag at first. Is Alex Rodriguez. Rodriguez been doing a lot more base stealing with the Yankees this year than he had been doing with Texas. He has 19 steals and has only been caught twice.
Looking at that 40-40 again, huh?
Well, he's a clear shot for 30-30 anyway. Sheffield at third, Rodriguez at first. And there's Bill Miller. And the inning is over. Lowe has shut out the Yankees over the last 4 innings. 6-2 Boston. Sunday night baseball. Red Sox 6, Yankees 2 as we go to the last half of the 5th inning. Kevin Millar will lead off here for Boston. He has hit a 2-run single, and he's been hit by a pitch. He's had 8 hits in 10 at-bats in this weekend series. Jose Contreras still out there. And a check swing. Did he swing? No, says Mike Winters on the appeal. 1 ball and no strikes. By the way, Rick, as I understand it, the calls have been pouring into our booth here from all of the major networks. Wanted to know if I could, be persuaded to leave Sunday Night Baseball to go to work in one of the news divisions as Millar hits one a mile. Headed for New Hampshire. Off the Coke bottle. 7-2 Red Sox. The 4th home run of the weekend for Millar.
Growing up, my dad told me not to play in the middle of the road. My first pitching coach told me not to throw a baseball in the middle of the plate either. And Contreras finding out the hard way tonight. That is the 3rd home run hit by the Boston Red Sox, but none further than that one.
Now Bill Miller. And that's ball 1 to Miller. Miller has grounded out twice in this one. He hit the home run against Mariano Rivera to win yesterday's ball. Actually, it was last night by the time he hit it. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, they've been,
oh, that's a strike. I beg your pardon.
John looking for something all year long to get him going. And Kevin Millar saying before the game, he didn't know, but he said hopefully the brawl and the home run by Bill Miller yesterday was what they needed. Well, it sure seems like it. They have come out. They've played strong. Derek Lowe has gotten into the act, and Kevin Millar is such a big part of that team. He takes so much pressure off the superstars because the press, including us, absolutely love him. He's always got a quote. He's cowboying up. He's shaving his head. He's always doing something to keep it loose in that difficult, at times, clubhouse.
Strike 3 to Miller. 1 down.
We love the K zone because more times than not it tells the whole story. Look at the ball, belt high, outer half, open up, just a simple little stroke. You know in this ballpark you don't have to swing that hard.
And Senator Kerry high-fived him with Millar himself, just like he's on the team now. Doug Mirabelli has been hit by a pitch and scored a run and fouled out to first. And that slider down and away. But I think the networks, the news divisions, were noticing how I grilled him on some hard issue questions. Like, how he feels about the DH. I mean, you see how I had a follow-up on that DH question, too.
Look at that. They're loving those questions. You're tough.
Yeah, I was all over him.
I figured the reason people were calling in was they were wanting to know where Joe Morgan was.
Yeah. We're both perhaps on our way out. And the big fireworks down. I don't know if that's part of the kickoff for the convention here or what, but all kinds of stuff going on in Boston. And the Red Sox and Yankees play the rubber match of this 3-game series. Doug Mirabelli in there. Jason Varitek hurt.
About 3 weeks late on that July 4th celebration.
That is foul. Past third. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count to Doug Mirabelli. Gabe Kapler on deck. By the way, there's an interview with Senator Kerry in the current edition of ESPN, the magazine. So I know about the 35,000 Democrats who are in town here would all probably like to get a copy of that this week while they're in for the convention. 2-2 the count. And down 3-2 to Mirabelli. 7-2, Boston ahead. The Yankees scored 2 runs in the first against Lowe, and really probably shouldn't have scored any. Lowe was victimized in that inning, and he has shut them down ever since. 7-2 the count, 3-2 the count, and that is the strikeout. So Mirabelli goes down. Contreras has struck out the last 2 hitters following the home run by Millar. Now the Lowe's home team advantage for the Boston Red Sox. And here at Fenway, 32 wins, 18 losses, averaging more than 6 runs a game, hitting over 300 at home. And they're a much more normal offensive ball club when they're away from Fenway Park.
I think you'd agree with me, John. Fenway Park to a hitter is a lot like Dodger Stadium has always been to a pitcher. You look back at the career ERAs of Sandy Koufax and Drysdale and the Don Suttons, always significantly lower in that ballpark, and a lot of averages in this ballpark. Ted Williams, a year he hit over 400. Most of that damage came right here at Fenway.
406, 1941, and nobody's done it since. The Red Sox, by the way, and that was, since we're talking about how they hit much less effectively when they're outside of Fenway, they're going out of Fenway now for 2 weeks. Their longest road trip of the year starts after tonight's game. They're heading off for their journey to Baltimore, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Detroit. Right center field, Gary Sheffield, and that's the inning. Kapler retired. Home run by Millar makes it 7-2 Boston. On to the 6th. Matsui, then Bernie Williams. Sunday night baseball from Fenway Park. The Boston Red Sox 7, the New York Yankees 2, as we move to the top of the 6th inning. Hideki Matsui leads off against Derek Lowe. And And at least for 5 innings, his performance tonight has to bring some very hopeful signs for both Derek Lowe and the Red Sox. And that slider is a strike on the outside. Although Lowe himself thinks that he could himself be traded here in the next few days. 0-2 the count to Hideki Matsui. Bernie Williams and Tony Clark to follow. And that's too high. First 5 batters of the ball game tonight. 4 of them reached. The only one that he retired was Derek Jeter, who made it out on a bunt on a sacrifice. But since then, he has been in command.
And I think that's the most impressive part. We talked about Kenny Lofton had a base hit that he turned into a double. The defense let Derek Lowe down, and then Sheffield hit a pop-up that should have been caught. It wasn't. But you know what? He continued to compete, and that's kind of been the knock on him this year. You know, he's made some excuses. He's had some problems with the blister. It's not the best infield defense in all of baseball, and he's a guy that relies on that defense. But you know what? They score a lot of runs. They will make up for the mistakes defensively that they make if you let them, and tonight he's done that.
2-2 the count to Matsui, but he, more than almost any other pitcher, really needs that defense, because he's not going to strike out many guys. The ball's going to be in play. Strike 3 on the outside to Matsui. He did not think so. Now, as we're talking Red Sox here, let's go to Sam Ryan with the general manager of the Sox, Theo Epstein. Sam?
And John, on the eve of what could be a very busy week for Theo Epstein, he's got the cell phone in his hand waiting for this phone to ring right now. But before we get to that, a little bit about this rivalry. Lower ERA than the Yankees, higher batting average, still 8.5 games back coming into this. What's been the problem?
Well, stats don't really matter except wins and losses, and we've had a little bit of a tough time. The last 3 months we've been about a 500 club. The talent's here, and yesterday could be a pretty big win for us if we're able to build on it and have a good week or two coming up, build some momentum.
You said after yesterday's game we've been waiting to get this feeling all season long. What did the players take out of that?
Well, from the 3rd inning on, that game had as much intensity as a postseason game. You could see the way we were grinding our at-bats and our focus. I think we just take out of it that now we know what we need to do to win and get on a winning streak. It's really, the mental approach to a game and being able to grind out the win versus the other team. The Yankees are something they're great at doing. We saw it in New York. Maybe we outplayed them a couple games, but in the later innings they did what they had to do to win. That's something we're capable of doing. We just have to go stop talking about it and go do it.
6 days until the trading deadline. We talked about this week coming up. Last month you told me pitching. That's what you were focusing in on. That's what you were narrowing in on. What's the focus now?
Well, still, we feel like you never have enough pitching, and we're pretty beat up. We had to put 2 more players on the DL today, Trot Nixon and Curtis Leskanic, and we have 9 players on the DL for, I think, the 3rd time this year. So we might make some moves for depth, more so than the big-name guy.
Big-name guy, Randy Johnson, that name is out there. Where do you guys stand in the Randy Johnson sweepstakes?
Well, Randy's under contract with the Diamondbacks, so that's really Joe Garagola's business and Randy Johnson's business, and I wouldn't want to intrude in their matters at all.
Have there been any talks with the Diamondbacks?
Well, Joe and I talk, every so often. We've made a couple trades together over the years, but we talk about a lot of different things.
Derek Lowe settling down nicely tonight. Is he untouchable?
Yeah, Derek's a huge part of our club. We need him to pitch the way he's pitching tonight if we're going to get anywhere.
Now, Derek Lowe, free agent. Nomar, Pedro, Veritek, all free agents. You don't trade any of those guys and lose them to free agency. Are you comfortable with that?
Well, I think there's a lot of value in competing for a World Series and winning a World Series. So that's our primary goal. They're all guys we'd like to bring back and that we'll have dialogue with after the season.
Okay, Theo Epstein, Red Sox fans will be waiting and listening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, Sam, thank you. And thanks to Theo, the general manager of the Red Sox. Tony Clark. I mean, and there is a very real issue about talking about players who are under contract to other ball clubs. I mean, it's called tampering. And if you were judged to be guilty of tampering, that can bring along big fines and other punishments meted out by the commissioner's office. So you've got to be awfully careful when you're talking about any other player in any kind of a trade discussion, even if it might be going on.
You have to be real careful with a lot of things you do in this town when you're the general manager, and I really think that Theo has done a remarkable job. 28 years of age last year, the youngest general manager ever, a senior vice president, along with that general manager's title. And injuries a lot of times are perceived as an excuse, but you have to be realistic with Boston. They've had Bill Miller out, they've had Nomar out, and they've had Trot Nixon out for a lot of this year. And defense has been a problem for them, and those are three of their best defensive players. The concern now, Trot Nixon back on the DL. You finally get Nomar and Bill Miller out. And then now, I think the number one guy they can least afford to lose, Jason Varitek, has an injury to his right wrist. How bad it is, none of us right now really know. X-rays were taken today, but if they lose him, that would be a huge blow for the Red Sox nation.
One of the top catchers in the American League. That slider up and away. 2-2 the count now to Tony Clark, who has struck out twice in this game. Here's Jason Varitek. He had, 25 home runs last year. Handles the staff well.
Yeah, I think it's his club. It really is. He's the man that they all look to. He's the glue to that lineup. He's been hitting second the last couple of days. So many things that he does for that team.
3-2 to Tony Clark. The Red Sox right behind Kevin Millar there in the stands on the phone. John Henry, who is hosting Tom Brokaw and Senator John Kerry, Senator John Glenn. That's the place to be tonight, that box.
Yeah, we were told there were maybe in excess of 30 senators down there in that Budweiser pavilion tonight, so they get ready for a big week.
And Tony Clark strikes out for the third consecutive time. 2 down.
They'd like to have Jason Giambi in their lineup, but he is not healthy. Tony Clark has had some big home runs for the Yankees this year, but none yet tonight. Here's the K-zone once again. Look at how long that slider from Derek Lowe looked to be in the strike zone. And then right at the end, a late movement, taking it down below the swing and picking up the second out. That's pitching, and he's been doing that all night.
Now Enrique Wilson, fastball a strike. Wilson is grounded to first and grounded into a double play. 7-2, the Red Sox leading the Yankees. Yankees keep waiting for the offense to get it going, but Derek Lowe has prevented that from happening. And a foul ball.
I think that's one of the biggest difference between Jason Giambi and Tony Clark is that patience. And the key to the New York Yankees offensively since Joe Torre took over has not been solo home runs. They get 2 or 3 people on, and then they hit the 3-run homer, the grand slam homer. That's how you win ball games. And that was clearly ball 4 there had the swing from Tony Clark not happened.
Jason Giambi, he's got one of the keenest eyes of any hitter in the big leagues, this side of Barry Bonds anyway. He's got extraordinary eyesight and the ability to recognize pitches. But they're having to play without Giambi right now. The mysterious illness that has sapped his strength. He was getting better for a while. They diagnosed it initially as a parasite in his intestines. He took antibiotics and whatnot. He started getting better, but Joe Torre says that has plateaued now. He's, for the last few days, has stopped getting better. Not getting worse, but not continuing to get better.
Remarkable the numbers that Giambi was able to put up last year with the eye infection that he had. There was a knee injury that eventually he had to have surgery on.
So that Giambi, one of the great sluggers in the game, the Yankees only have like 5 or 6 great sluggers in the lineup. There's a roller to first. Millar's got it. And that is the inning. 6 strong innings from Derek Lowe. 7-2 Red Sox. The top of the order. Johnny Damon coming up. In Boston's Back Bay, there's Fenway Park. The Red Sox lead the Yankees 7-2 as we go to the last of the 6th inning now. The Red Sox in the 2nd inning got a 3-run homer by Johnny Damon to go ahead 5-2. The next hitter, Bellhorn, also took one out of the yard. Kevin Millar in the 5th inning hit his 4th home run of this series against the Yankees. And Derek Lowe, he's got a 3-hit shutout going since the Yankees got those 2 runs in the very 1st inning against him. Now Johnny Damon, he's got a 3-hit game going here, facing Jose Contreras. Damon now with 7 hits and 13 at-bats for this weekend series. Red Sox got 7 runs here Friday and lost. They got 11 runs and just barely won yesterday. And now they put 7 more on the board so far tonight as we start the 6th inning. So the Yankees have come in here and have allowed 25 runs to the Boston Red Sox in these 3 games. 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
Maybe change that pitch selection a little bit to Johnny Damon. All right, I can't get a fastball by you. You have proven that to me. So Contreras has really done a nice job settling down since that difficult 2nd inning.
And Damon chased a bad one right there. Tonight, Kevin Youkilis, the 25-year-old rookie infielder of the Red Sox, is wearing a microphone for us. And when Johnny Damon was up there in the 2nd inning, Youkilis predicted the home run.
3-1. Pesky pole right here. Pesky pole. 3-run yakka.
I got it! Yeah!
You got to love that energy. And that is so important for the role players, the utility guys, the starting pitchers on the day they're not pitching, to have that energy to keep guys motivated. You know, Joe Torre likes to have a couple of those guys on his bench, particularly for games like this. You know, Derek Jeter, A-Rod come in. They're going to most of the time play every day. Have somebody in there that says something to them that kind of lights that fire.
Ball 1 to Bellhorn. And that's a strike. Youkilis, by the way, is not in the dugout at the moment, but as you see Heredia, the left-hander, up again in the Yankees bullpen. David Ortiz, the left-handed slugger, is on deck. The switch hitting Bellhorn to the plate right now. The lefty Heredia getting ready. There's Ortiz up next. Youkilis from Cincinnati originally. He sounded like a New Englander, though. And 3-1. He didn't just predict a home run, though. He said it was going to hit off Pesky's pole out there. That was pretty good.
We need to go back and check his whole conversation tonight, though. I bet he's made some other predictions over. Yeah.
So you think, okay, well, he got the one right. We're going with that one. Into right center field. Way back there. And off the wall. Lofton could not handle it. Sheffield chasing the carom, and stopping is Bellhorn. He knows the 2 biggest sluggers in the lineup are coming up next. And I think the crowd was disappointed. They thought he was going for 3. But he thought, nah, not with Ortiz and Manny coming up.
That's a real good point, John. And we talked earlier about Johnny Damon playing defense here and how difficult that center field can be. There's the K zone there. Take a look at this. Now look at Lofton closing in on it. All right, he had a shot at getting to that baseball, but he did not know for sure where that wall was. And because of it, he pulled up a little bit. He checked the wall to protect himself, and another extra base hit for Boston.
And that's going to do it for Contreras. With Ortiz coming up, Heredia is coming in. 7-2 Red Sox. We'll be back. Here's Heredia to face David Ortiz with a runner at second. And 1 out here in the 6th inning. The Red Sox are leading 7-2. Felix Heredia, the only left-hander in the Yankees bullpen right now. And his numbers are not very appetizing if you're a Yankees fan. Facing Ortiz, the big slugger. Blew that one right by him.
He has had good numbers, though, against the left-handed swinging David Ortiz. 0 for 5 versus Heredia. And, you know, this is a pretty nice job to have here. If he can come in here and get this one guy out, his night's probably over with, and he's probably part of a postseason team.
Left-handed hitters are hitting only .216 against Heredia. There's Brett Prinz, the right-hander, with the right-handed hitting Manny Ramirez on deck. Toward the wall. But not, well, no, that's off the wall. Matsui elected to play the carom, and coming around to score is Bellhorn. An easy out at Yankee Stadium, but Matsui, you've got to make a judgment here whether you're going to play the carom or go for the catch. He could have perhaps gotten the catch. The ball did not hit very high up off the wall.
I think you got to give David Ortiz some credit here, though, because he made an adjustment. Take a look at the pitch here from Heredia. I mean, that's a pretty good pitch for a left-handed hitter to go down and get. On the previous pitch in the same location, he couldn't put it in play. And there, like you said, Matsui had a decision to make. Could he have gone to the wall, climbed it, and made that play? He didn't think so.
So now Joe Torre with the right-handed hitting Manny Ramirez coming up is going to bring in Brett Prinz. 8-2 Boston will be back. 27-year-old right-hander Brett Prinz just brought back from the minor leagues today to help bolster this Yankees bullpen. I mean, they've been worked so hard here lately. They added an extra arm today. And he comes on to face the right-handed batting Manny Ramirez, who is 0 for 3 in the game. Prinz has been up before this year in the big leagues. You see his earlier numbers. And he's tough to hit.
He was even tougher to hit a couple of years ago when he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks. A power-type arm, a deceptive three-quarters delivery.
He's had some arm troubles since then. He came up in 2001, the year that Arizona won the World Series, beating the Yankees in Game 7 of that great World Series. And he was an important man in that bullpen. 2.63 ERA, 41 innings pitched, only 33 hits allowed. And he fouls one back onto the rooftop. But Prinz has really hardly had a healthy year since that time.
Looks like that velocity might be back. A 2-0 count to Manny Ramirez. Looking fastball. Got a fastball, but not able to do anything with it.
He was traded to the Yankees about this time last year. Fastball at the knees. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. It was here on a Sunday night baseball game, Yankees-Red Sox, Raul Mondesi got taken out of a game and then just left Fenway Park and did not fly with the Yankees to the West Coast. And the Yankees decided, well, we better get him out of here. That's not the way we do it here. And he was traded a few days later to Arizona. They needed a hitter. And Brett Prinz was part of that deal as Manny fouls one straight back to the screen. They got David DeLucci in that deal as well. There's Brian Cashman down by the Yankees dugout. I like when Sam Ryan was interviewing Theo Epstein, the Red Sox GM. We could hear Epstein's phone ringing.
I like the fact that he's out there with the fans. GMs that can take some heat from time to time. He doesn't care.
You think the Red Sox fans would give him some heat?
No, you're right. My bad.
I saw when Arte Moreno, the owner of the Anaheim Angels, he'd come out originally. There's Theo Epstein in the stands. He'd come out originally when the whole Randy Johnson thing first came out that they might trade him. And he said, hey, we're not really going to be going after him. We're not going to get involved in that. And then Arte Moreno always goes around the ballpark in Anaheim when the Angels are home and talks with the fans. He wants to hear what they like about the experience, what they don't like. All he kept hearing, he said they kept blistering him about getting Randy Johnson after that. So then Moreno finally said, well, I told the general manager, Bill Stoneman, that go ahead and get him if you can get him, but we're not going to bankrupt our future. They've got a lot of plans for these young players in their system. Manny into right field. Sheffield on the run. Great effort by Sheffield, and stopping at third is Ortiz. That's a huge outfield, the biggest right field area in the American League to play.
What an at bat by Manny Ramirez. after swinging and fouling off the 2-0 fastball, he took the next pitch just to get a better look at it. He fouled off a couple of more. Then he finally had his sights set on that fastball, able to put it in play. You mentioned earlier David DeLucci. Well, he was one of the mix of right fielders that the Yankees used last year. A terrific effort on the part of Sheffield there. He did not come up with the ball, but he did keep Ortiz from scoring.
Looked like he actually ended up kicking that one with his knee. Here's Nomar. That one fouled right off the mask of the plate umpire Wendelstedt, and it knocked the mask right off his head. And that'll shake you up.
You know, there's some friendly competition between Ortiz and Manny Ramirez on RBIs this year. Ortiz picking up one earlier tonight, now has 88. Manny's still stuck on 80. A lot of people might have scored on that ball. But these two guys are as good of friends as there could be.
It looks like they're kidding each other about it right now.
Ortiz is apologizing. Manny kind of looked at him and shook his head. But I love what Manny did in the All-Star game. He had his 2 at-bats. He hit his homer. And then before his 3rd at-bat, Manny said, no. Let my buddy go up there. Ortiz walked in his 1st at-bat. And then he, too, homered in the All-Star game.
Nomar hits a high foul. Out of play off to the right. Clark starts back. But you run out of room to chase a pop foul in this ballpark in a hurry. There's not much room in foul ground. 0-2 the count to Nomar Garcia-Parra.
Don't you figure at some point in the not-too-distant future, they're just going to take the seats right to the foul line everywhere?
Well, every new ballpark now uses Fenway as a model. We want the seats right on top of home plate.
Right behind the umpire.
And Nomar strikes out on the high fastball. He is now 1 for 4 tonight. 2 down and 2 on. Fans, be sure and log on to MLB.com to follow baseball live on the web with MLB.com's real-time stats, game day audio, and MLB.tv.MLB.com, where baseball is always on. I go in there and log on my laptop in a hotel room and then get the complete telecast of a game or a condensed version of the game or all the big plays of a game. Kevin Millar, he has found his swing this weekend against the Yankees. And he had found it a little bit before the Yankees got to town. 6 homers overall in his last 5 games. 4 of them, though, have come this weekend against the Yankees. And he has had, 9 hits and 11 at-bats for the weekend. Tonight, a 2-run single and a long home run. David Ortiz at 3rd. Manny Ramirez at 1st. 2 down. And it's away. 2-1 the count to Kevin Millar. He has lifted his overall average up to 295. Millar had a pretty big year last year. And actually, last year, after a big first half, he kind of faded a little bit in the last several weeks of the season. So he seems intent on doing it just the opposite this year. Broken back bloop. That's going to fall. Ortiz is picked up. It's Millar who gets the RBI. Even when he breaks his bat, it works out well for him. 9-2 Boston.
You talked about that big year he had last year, John. He played in 148 games with 25 homers and just under 100 RBIs. I think this year's version of Kevin Millar, take a look at it. That's a pretty good pitch right there. You see the result. The bat is broke. Ideally, that's what you like to happen if you're a pitcher, but they're just so big and so strong now. He's easily able to get it over the infield. Another run. They continue to add to their lead, which the way this series has gone, John, that's very important.
Bill Miller, 0 for 3. Grounded out twice and struck out. Manny Ramirez at 2nd. Kevin Millar at 1st. 9-2, Boston leading the Yankees. One of the runs in this inning charged to the record of Jose Contreras, who gave up 8 runs and 9 hits in 5 1/3 innings. 1 run charged to Felix Heredia. There's Heredia in the foreground, and that's Contreras right behind him. These 2 base runners belong to Brett Prinz. And fastball is up and away. 3-0. In this weekend series, the Yankee staff has allowed 27 runs and 38 hits. In what? Less than 24 innings pitched.
People talked in the winter about what was going to happen with the, in particular, starting rotation of the Yankees. Andy Pettit left, Roger Clemens retired and then unretired, and you forget sometimes about David Wells and how important he has been to the success of the Yankees. David Wells has not played on a losing team since 1995. He joins the Padres this year, and what a story that has been. That club is right in contention. They beat the Los Angeles Dodgers today after a big road trip after the All-Star break, and they head back home where they've been real good.
Well, that's 3/5 of your starting rotation, and all three big winners. And the Yankees had to replace him. They got Javier Vasquez. They picked up Kevin Brown. And they had John Lieber sort of in their back pocket ready for this. And he's pitched a lot of innings for them.
He's been a big pitcher in the past. We know a couple of years ago he won 20 games with the Chicago Cubs. I talked to John before the game tonight, and that arm strength, as you would expect, is just a little bit inconsistent right now, and that's the reason his results have been inconsistent. He's going to be a good pitcher, though, because he is healthy again.
But, I mean, his numbers are nowhere near what they were before he got hurt. He won 20 games, 3-4 years ago.
But don't you think to begin with, they're just trying to figure out what they're going to do with their roster in October?
That's what I think. And just about everybody else the same. The Red Sox are the closest to them in their division, and they are 8.5 out coming into play tonight. Mirabelli with the bases loaded. And Prince was a little too quick for him on that one. 0-2 the count. Kevin Brown could be back as early as Friday. He had the rehab start tonight, and by all appearances it went well. Barring a setback, he could pitch for them Friday and rejoin the rotation. Mike Messina, though, they were hoping that, and there's Messina, right back to Prince. We'll tell you about Messina when we come back. But right now, the Red Sox add 2 more to their total. We're heading to the 7th inning. Lofton, Jeter, and Sheffield coming up. 9-2, Boston. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. We're at Fenway Park in Boston, the site of the 2004 Democratic National Nominating Convention. The Red Sox leading the Yankees 9-2. The convention starts tomorrow, but right now they're very excited about what's going on right here at Fenway. As Derek Lowe's pitched a strong one, and the Sox have a very big lead. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe, Joe Morgan up in Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame festivities, and we're joined now by George Stephanopoulos, the anchor of ABC Television's Sunday morning program This Week, and I know co-starring George Will.
Co-starring George Will. I get all my baseball tips from George Will.
There's a called strike from Lowe to the leadoff man, Kenny Lofton. Now, George, welcome. And you're here, obviously, for the convention.
Starting tomorrow.
I thought, or maybe just a chance to get to Fenway Park.
First time ever. It's a big night for me.
Off the glove of Bellhorn at second, and safe at first is Kenny Lofton on the error. Now you grew up in Cleveland.
I grew up in Cleveland and actually New York. When I was a kid, I grew up in New York, so I was a big Mets fan growing up.
Not a Yankee fan?
Not a Yankee fan, Mets fan. Shea Stadium, first place I ever saw a baseball game.
All right, so
I'm rooting for the Red Sox tonight.
So you just didn't like the Yankees then?
No, I was a big Mets fan, and if you liked the Mets in '69, you did not like the Yankees.
All right, now, by the way, the show, Sunday morning, ABC.
That's right.
Now, it's George Will, Cokie Roberts.
That's right. Sam Donaldson, they were all on this morning, previewing the convention. But you had better luck getting Senator Kerry on than I did today.
You couldn't. You tried to get him and you couldn't?
Of course I did. You guys beat me to it.
Nobody turns John Miller down. We've known that for a long time now. And then when he does get you on, I mean, did you hear how hard he was on?
That was tough. I read the interview. You guys are murder board out.
Yeah, I grilled him.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
I wanted his sense of the issues. I asked him point blank, DH, good or bad?
Said he hated it from the start.
Yeah. And I didn't just let it rest there. I had a follow-up question on that one.
I saw he kind of dodged on Pete Rose.
He did. In the right field, there is Kapler. It's a running start on that one, but Lofton was not tagging up anyway. Now, you've been in politics, obviously. I mean, you managed Bill Clinton's.
Except back in 1992.
His first campaign. But you were a sportscaster at one time? Is this
back in college? That's right, Columbia College. I did soccer play-by-play and a little bit of baseball, but not too much.
You did soccer play-by-play?
I did. It's tough. You got to talk a lot during a soccer game.
You have to talk a lot in games like this
one too. Exactly.
Joe always does this to me too. When Joe Morgan goes to the Hall of Fame, it's always at least a 3.5, 4-hour game.
Well, you guys are earning your money tonight, man. I'll say.
Well, although Rick, 2 of the years that he filled in for Joe Morgan, one year Cleveland had a 14-2 deficit against Seattle, and Seattle came back and won.
How many innings did that take?
It felt like about 27 innings, but I think it was 10 innings or so, 10 or 11 innings. It was the greatest comeback in about 80 years. And then a couple of years ago, we had a Cubs-Cardinal game. Cardinals were down 9-4 in the 9th inning, and the Cardinals got 6 in the 9th to win the ball game.
Boy, I'm going to hang out here tonight, then.
So there's no telling what might happen. And if anybody can come back in the game, it's the Yankees with all that offense. Mirabelli comes back, and he makes the catch. Again, holding the mask in one hand and making the one-handed catch.
You got to love the passion that these Red Sox fans have for their team. I mean, they're up 9-2, and they're cheering a pop-up to the catcher.
But John Terry showed some courage coming out there on the mound today.
I think he kind of set the tone, too, for Derek Lowe. Did you see the nice sinker that he threw out for that first pitch?
Short,
he kind of looked at Derek and said, hey, kid, this is where you can succeed, and he's done a good job of it tonight.
Now, Alex Rodriguez. He's had 2 base hits, although he has not hit a ball out of the infield. Both of his base hits did not even reach third base. And that's a called strike. It's 0-1. But, George, what about this convention? I mean, I went out on a limb earlier and predicted that Senator Kerry would win the nomination.
Hey, that's a big, brave move there.
I mean, are there any surprises that...
Well, tonight was a surprise to begin with. I mean, as far as I know, you see Senator Kerry there. He was on a plane with John Glenn, and Senator Glenn didn't even know they were coming here tonight. He thought they were going on to Cape Canaveral. Halfway through the flight, Kerry says, we're diverting the flight. We're going to Fenway. And Glenn's still smiling.
0-2 the count. And the Senator, as well as all the Red Sox faithful, rise to their feet here. 2 down, 2 strikes to A-Rod. Lofton, the runner at first. Derek Lowe. And with Lofton running, the ball ends up bouncing away from Mirabelli. The runner advances. So when you were in college, you wanted to be a sportscaster?
I was having fun with it. Yeah, I never thought I was going to. That wasn't good.
Or did you always want to be in politics?
Back in college, I knew I was going to be in politics for a while.
All right. Now, when you ran Clinton's campaign in '92, when he won for the presidency, I mean, would you have advised him to not go to Cape Canaveral, but to come to Fenway Park on a night like this with Sunday Night Baseball in town?
I might have come to Fenway, but I would have been surrounded by policemen firing, make sure there's no way they could boo you coming out onto the field.
Well, my question for you is, I got a feeling you're coming back to Fenway, aren't you?
I'm definitely coming back to Fenway, no question about it.
But it's true, though. I mean, politicians always get booed in ballparks.
They know it's the first rule of politics. You know it if you're going to a ballpark, you can get booed. You just got to decide if you're going to take the pen.
I mean, one notable exception was after September 11th, 2001, when President Bush went out to the mound at Yankee Stadium in the World Series, and that was quite an emotional and memorable moment.
That really was. I mean, one of his best moments. His father once had a great moment down in Houston as well. He made it out on the mound without getting booed.
2-2 the count to Alex Rodriguez. So you're going to be involved in the coverage this week with Peter Jennings.
With ABC. Yeah. We got our new 24/7 coverage.
Now I read about that. That's with the secondary bands.
Secondary bands. You can get it digital channels on your affiliates. You can get it through your cell phone if you want, your BlackBerry. It's something brand new. We're looking forward to it.
So if you want that gavel-to-gavel coverage,
you're going to get it. Pick up your phone, listen to the whole thing.
All right.
Go on your computer.
And you can get it online, I guess?
Absolutely.
Okay. But for ABC, if you're just going regular television,
Regular
a couple
television.
hours a night, or
10 o'clock Monday night, 10 o'clock Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Thursday night.
Alex Rodriguez draws a walk. 2 men on, 2 men out. And here is Jorge Posada. Derek Lowe working here in the 7th inning. And Sox fans have to be just ecstatic about what Lowe's given them tonight.
They do. Once again, the reason that this inning is not over, though, is the Red Sox defense. And I like what Terry Francona is doing here. You know, sure, he's not allowed to run yet this inning, but you know what? He can see it coming. This has been the key to the Yankees' success. He's trying to stop it.
So that's it for Lowe. 119 pitches thrown, a season's high. There is Timlin, the right-hander, coming in with the bullpen. George Stephanopoulos will look for in the convention
Thank
coverage.
you, guys.
Thanks for
Take
stopping
care.
by.
Bye-bye.
Red Sox 9, Yankees 2. Top of the 7th inning. 2 on, 2 out for the Yankees. And there is Mike Timlin. In October last year, he was as good as there was. I mean, almost untouchable. And really, I think his performance throughout the postseason was part of the reason why Red Sox fans were so upset that Pedro Martinez was not taken out of that Game 7 earlier against the Yankees.
Well, it's not the first time that Mike Timlin has put up numbers like that. He's been quality for a long time.
Jorge Posada, and that's ball 1. Timlin is in his 47th game of the year. But I like George Stephanopoulos, the assessment. He was a little down on the campaign manager for Senator Kerry for letting him go out on the field to throw out the ceremonial first pitch, because as we heard here, and as we know well, having seen it so many times at ballparks, politicians almost always get booed. And how did he put it? He said he wouldn't have allowed, he would have had all the police and Secret Service and what surrounding him. Said, do not let him go out on that field.
I remember a great moment at Wrigley back in 1988 when President Reagan at that time came out and threw out the first pitch, and then he went on the air with Harry Carey and broadcast several games, as he had done earlier in his career,
before he was even in the movies. Sports broadcaster. There's a pop-up foul off to the left. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Earlier tonight, we were talking about Senator Kerry being introduced. He and his wife, Teresa Hines Kerry.
Sinker, look at that. I mean, that was a difficult pitch to handle there.
Now he's down with John Henry, who's on the right-hand side there in John Henry's box near the Red Sox dugout, enjoying the ball game along with Senator John Glenn. And it's a foul back out of play. It was great hearing from George Stephanopoulos on his first time ever in Fenway. And as he said, it won't be the last time he's going to be here. I mean, Fenway is, there are a lot of great ballparks that have been built, starting with Camden Yards. And Wrigley Field is certainly a classic. But there's an atmosphere at Fenway that doesn't exist anywhere else. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Timlin tries it again. And a slider low and inside to Posada. 2-2.
I think it's amazing, too, and I'm sure, John, that you and Joe have talked about it, the changes that they have made here and what they've been able to do with the green monster seats out there. That's got to be the best seat in Boston. And the pavilion they added down the right field line. And, I mean, they've just enhanced the viewing experience here.
They expanded the scoreboard on the out-of-town scoreboard to include the National League scores, which had been excluded from the wall after it had been rebuilt following the 75 World Series. Changeup up and away. Now it's a full count, 3-2. Matsui on deck. Sports Center will follow the ball game. There's the pavilion out on the right field rooftop behind the right field foul pole that Rick Sutcliffe was talking about. An area added this year to Fenway Park. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe and Sam Ryan. Sunday Night Baseball. The Red Sox trying to get their season going. The runners go. And that is ball 4. So, quite a battle given Timlin there by Posada. He coaxes the walk. And here comes Matsui. with a chance to do some serious damage here. Here at Fenway, tonight is the 115th consecutive sellout. Coors Field and Jacobs Field. Jacobs Field was sold out for what, nearly 7 consecutive seasons.
You know, when I look at that, what I think of, Manny Ramirez was a part of those sellouts at Jacobs Field, also a part of them here at Fenway. What kind of offensive player would he have been at Coors Field, the other one up there?
I think they'd still be selling out at Coors if he was there. 3 men on. Matsui chases the high fastball. Matsui tonight has a sacrifice fly. The game really kind of turned around on his sacrifice fly, though. It knocked in the first run of the game, but it was a great catch by Johnny Damon in center on what otherwise might have been a 2 or 3 run double,
followed by a great catch by Manny Ramirez down in that corner to get out of the inning.
And it was the second run of the game. That ball into center. Damon back again. Still going back. Looks up. It's a grand slam. And look out. The Yankees are coming. 6 on the board for the Yankees. And suddenly, from 9-2 to 9-6. And that is the only hit of this inning. The Red Sox gave 3 base runners with a big lead, and that's why you don't give away base runners when you've got the big lead.
Godzilla just attacked the Red Sox nation. You're going to see a fastball. You're going to see a good swing. Look at that, right down the middle of the plate. Even though it was down, look at Matsui go down and get it. Look at the extension. Look at the contact. Johnny Damon going back to the wall, but absolutely nothing he could do but look up.
Here's Bernie Williams. And the fans here at Fenway, suddenly there's an almost deathly still that has descended upon this old ballpark.
Well, I'm sure a lot of these people have been out here for the 2 previous games, and there's a lot of things that have happened then that very well could happen again tonight.
Bernie Williams is flied out, singled, and walked. Did he swing at that one? No, says Bruce Fromm. Yesterday, the 6th inning here at Fenway lasted 1 hour and 7 minutes. And you see the Yankees, they've come back from many deficits this year, more than any other team. You know, tonight they were down by 7 at one point. Even for the Yankees, that's not easily done. But yesterday, in the 6th inning, the Yankees were down 4-3, and they scored 6 runs to go ahead 9-4. But in the last half of the 6th inning, Boston scored 4 runs, 10 runs total in the 1 inning, which took 1 hour and 7 minutes to play. One and 2 to Bernie Williams. 2 down, nobody on. And he stays alive. So all of the runs in this inning are unearned. 2 of them charged to the record of Derek Lowe, so he gave up 4 runs, 2 earned. And, of course, the worst thing from Timlin's standpoint, really, besides the grand slam, is the fact that he walked the first man that he faced.
It's been a big key to the Yankees' success for a long time. They're being patient. And patient doesn't mean taking good pitches to hit. It means simply waiting on a good pitch to hit, which the Yankees have done again this inning.
The inning began on the error by Bellhorn. That fastball misses inside. Boston led off the inning with a ground ball right to Bellhorn, and it went right through him for an error. Then with 2 down, Rodriguez drew a walk. Then Timlin came into the game. He walked Posada after an extended battle. And then Matsui over the 17-foot high wall in center field, a grand slam. 9-6 Boston. And suddenly it seems like there's all kinds of time left in this game. And a foul back out of play by Bernie. He's the 7th hitter of the inning. Here's Derek Lowe. 119 pitches tonight. It started badly for him, but then he settled in. But he walked the last man he faced, A-Rod, with 2 down in this inning. And Timlin has not been able to get the 3rd out either. Until now, strike 3. 4 runs for the Yankees, and now the Yankees are thinking about a comeback. 9-6 Boston. Hideki Matsui got Francilla into the center field bleachers. We're at Fenway Park. And suddenly the Red Sox, with a 9-2 lead, now leading 9-6. Now there's a whole new way to watch ESPN HD. The pictures you are seeing are from our latest HD programming edition, ESPN Sports Century. Our premiere episode on Pedro Martinez kicked off this month. And we're showing them on the first flat TV to produce background lighting that matches the pictures on the screen. Now, this is not a trick. It actually illuminates the wall behind the television. It's the new Philips flat TV with Ambilight from our friends at Philips, the sponsor of ESPN HD. Now, you can experience TV in a whole new light with ESPN HD and Philips flat TVs with Ambilight. I have a high-definition set at home, and the HD pictures are so incredible that now when I turn on the set, I check out all the HD channels. Yeah. And if there's nothing that I want to watch on, I turn it off and go to bed. I mean, the pictures are mesmerizing. I saw some of that Cubs game earlier this week. Sammy Sosa ended up winning the ball game with a home run. And it's the first time I'd actually seen the HD at home on a Major League Baseball telecast. It was like being at the ballpark. Gabe Kapler pops up to Tony Clark, and there is one away in the Boston seventh. Now let's go to our colleague Sam Ryan.
Joined here by Ben Affleck, John, and huge Red Sox fan. Now, you usually sit next to the Red Sox dugout. What happened? You're on the Yankees side tonight.
Well, I do charity work for the Red Sox, not because I'm a particularly good guy, but just so I can get these really great seats here. But turned out that Senator Kerry was coming tonight, so I have the displeasure of sitting next to the Yankee dugout tonight, unfortunately. But at least I can heckle them more up close.
Heckling them you are. After Matsui hit that grand slam, A-Rod came over here, had some words with you. What did he say?
I wouldn't call it repeatable, but it was, yeah, he came over to, oh, get out. Yeah, he had something to say, and along the lines of how pleased with himself he was. I mean, I thought his 2 hits were pretty cheap, frankly, but, you know, that's what he gets the big money for.
So how's your love for the Yankees now?
You know, just love them to death. I mean, last night I thought was one of the great games ever, and it shows you what kind of heart and spirit this team has. And you know, they fought back and they played great, no pun intended. And it's exciting. I mean, I don't think there's any other team in Major League Baseball where it feels like playoff atmosphere in July, you know, and it does here tonight. It's exciting, and the Democratic Convention is here. I think people are going to get a chance to see what a great city this is, and so I'm really excited, and it's an exciting night.
So you're sitting next to the Yankee dugout. You have their general manager, Brian Cashman, 2 seats behind you. You're sitting in the seat that George Steinbrenner usually sits in when he comes here to Fenway.
Stink to it. I can't tell what it was. There's something didn't feel right about it. Yeah, I know the evil empire's here. It's an interesting place to be, but it'll be nothing would give me more satisfaction than just. We've been getting a real tough time from the refs, the umpires tonight. It's unfortunate. Anyway, thank you very much, and hopefully, knock wood, things will come together for us. And thanks for talking to me.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, Ben Affleck. I have the feeling he's a Sox fan. 9-6 Red Sox, top of the 8th coming up. At Fenway Park, Sunday Night Baseball, and we move on to the 8th inning now. The Red Sox made a trade yesterday with the Toronto Blue Jays. They acquired veteran right-handed reliever Terry Adams. And Adams is right here and being thrown right into the Yankees-Red Sox fray. And Adams delivers ball 1 to Tony Clark, who has struck out 3 times. Adams, 43 innings pitched with the Blue Jays this year, 3.98 ERA. And Rick, I mean, he's been around a while. He's always had pretty good stuff.
Yeah, he's not going to be intimidated by this atmosphere or seeing the Yankees over there. I think the reason that it's gotten so quiet here at Fenway, though, is the fact that even Fenway and Red Sox fans like Ben Affleck trying to figure out You know, who's number 53 out there? Who is this guy? Or 58, whatever that is. Yeah, it's 53.
Okay, we have a new pitcher. It's...
who is this guy? Is he good?
Now pitching for Boston, number 53, Terry Adams. Yeah. What?
Who?
That's a good point. And, I mean, the fact that he was acquired the same day they had the brawl yesterday and all the stuff going on yesterday and the great comeback, I think a lot of people might have missed that little news item. Terry Adams, and he's a guy who could really help them. And he's been with the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Phillies for a while, the Blue Jays.
You know, and Affleck was talking about the fight and all that. I like what A-Rod said about it. You know, it's been part of baseball for a long time.
Strike 3, the high fastball blows away Tony Clark, who has struck out 4 times in a row.
I don't know that all these fans know that. They know that this new guy, we kind of like him.
Yeah,
works pretty hard, doesn't it?
Closer Keith Folk getting ready in the bullpen now. But that's a way to endear yourself to the fans here at Fenway. In your debut, strike out the first Yankee you've ever faced as a member of the Red Sox. Enrique Wilson now. That's up and away. Ball 1. Wilson is 0 for 3. Kenny Lofton on deck. Yanks scored first, 2 in the first inning. The Red Sox got 2 in their half of the first to tie it, and then 4 in the second. And they have been ahead ever since. At one point lengthening that lead to 9-2 at the end of 6 innings. But then Matsui hit the grand slam in the 7th inning to make it 9-6. And that's the score now as we play here in the 8th. And Adams' job, almost like an audition for the job of setup man in front of Folk, is to run right through them here in the 8th inning and set it up for Folk to get the so-called easy save in the 9th.
I'm not real sure that manager Terry Francona believes that his new reliever can do that. If he had total confidence in him, he definitely would not have Keith Folk up and throwing right now here in the top of the 8th.
That's a good point. 3-1 the count.
Francona's got a little Leo Mazzoni in him, doesn't he? You see the rocking there?
I think he just picked that up this weekend.
He's been doing that all year. And I really think the Red Sox made a terrific pickup when they hired this guy. He has been a manager in the big leagues before. We remember Francona back with the Phillies. That was a young club that wasn't expected to win a whole lot. He learned some things there.
He had a pitcher named Curt Schilling.
He did.
Those Phillies.
But he also managed a guy who, in the sports world, is a lot more famous than even Curt Schilling.
Who?
We know him from a different sport. You know who I'm talking about. Francona in Double-A was the skipper for Michael Jordan.
Jordan in Double-A ball. He was at the Birmingham Barons. So a walk for Enrique Wilson. I mean, these walks, there were 2 of them plus an error that set the stage for Matsui's grand slam in the 7th inning. So now a 1-out walk to the 9th place hitter, Enrique Wilson. And here comes Kenny Lofton trying to cause some more trouble. Lofton, who's hit a double, which really was a single that he hustled into a double. He then hit a single his next time up, grounded out in the 5th, and then was safe in the Bellhorn error. That was the beginning of the 4-run 7th inning rally.
He's a guy that played a little basketball in his college career at the University of Arizona. Also the same place that Terry Francona played baseball.
A strike to Lofton. Third baseman Bill Miller is very shallow for Lofton. So suddenly the chance of Lofton slapping one right by him into left field figures to increase. And a hanging slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a good lesson for young leadoff hitters, guys with speed, John. I mean, just the fact that Lofton might bunt is what brings Bill Miller in so close. You don't even have to bunt now. Just by bringing him in like that, you create a lot of more opportunities for a hard-hit ground ball to get through. I mean, look at him. He's right there in that vicinity there. If he was back on the dirt and you hit a hard ground ball, he's got an opportunity to take a step, maybe two, and then dive. Where he's at right now, I mean, if it's not at him, it's by him.
I mean, listen to how quiet Fenway Park is. Nobody's left. 35,006, the paint crowd, they're all still here. But they're a little nervous right now. If Lofton gets aboard, Derek Jeter would come up as the possible tying run of the game. A game which just 1 inning ago, the Red Sox led by 7 runs. Senator Carey is still here. Two strikes to Lofton. Ooh, that was a sharp breaking ball, a little bit inside apparently. 2-2.
Crowd wanting that because they too know what you were talking about. A whole lot of arguing going on tonight with home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt. Always a good sign for them.
That slider is ripped down the right field line. That ball is in there, base hit. Kepler over to cut it off. Lofton racing for second, and he's in there. His 3rd hit of the game. Wilson over to third base. And now, Derek Jeter is the possible tying run of this game. And Folk up in the bullpen, and here comes Francona. And he has already made the call. So Folk is going to have to get 5 outs to save this one. 9-6 Boston. There is Keith Folk. Last year he was the closer for the Oakland Athletics, and outside of maybe Mariano Rivera, nobody really had a better year as a closer in the American League than did Keith Folk.
And his manager now, Terry Francona, had a good look at that because Francona was a coach on that Oakland A's staff that Folk pitched for.
Derek Jeter, the hitter. Lofton there, number 12, is at second. Wilson at third. Jeter could tie this game with a home run. Back at Folk. It ricochets back to Mirabelli. The throw to first. It hits Jeter. It rolls down the line. Wilson in to score. Lofton over to third. And no, they're going to call Jeter out. Jeter is called out by the plate umpire Wendelstedt for being inside the line. That makes it a dead ball. Jeter is out, and both runners will have to go back. And now Joe Torre is going to come out to discuss that call with Hunter Wendelstedt. Meanwhile, the Red Sox are going to go out and see if Keith Folk is all right. You get the 3-foot box halfway up the first base line and the rest of the way to the first, and the runner's got to be inside that box.
Right, I was going to say, what do you want me to talk about first? The argument. Take a look at Jeter. I thought he was out of the box in the first inning when he laid down that sacrifice bunt. He can see what's going on here. He knows that it's going to be a difficult play. He's clearly inside the line there. Even though the throw could have been a little bit better for Mirabelli, it wasn't. Derek Jeter didn't argue a whole lot. Joe Torre, as always, is going to come out and protect his players. Now, Terry Francona has to be concerned with his closer. I mean, you lose him now, right when you catch a huge break.
I mean, you've already played your final card, right? And if you lose him, I mean, he's your final card. I mean, they have other guys they could go to, but nobody else that they want to go to.
We got to figure out, and Embry's not available, or you would have thought he would have brought him in back when Matsui was up with the bases loaded. Left-handed hitter. They're not going to pinch hit for Matsui. He didn't come in, so I agree with you. It's all in the hands of Keith Folk.
Embry pitched yesterday, the 7th inning of the game. Here's the play, the ball hitting Keith Folk.
I mean, that caught mostly his right shin. Then it came up off his hand. But look how far it went back in the direction of the catcher, Doug Mirabelli.
So now 2 down. Here is the dangerous Sheffield. 1 ball to no strike. Sheffield, the Yankees RBI leader. He picked up number 71 tonight. He has 20 home runs. One of the most dangerous hitters in the game, and he's had 4 hits and 6 at-bats. Lifetime against Folk. Wilson at third. Lofton at second, ready to go in anything with 2 down. That one is into left. It's hanging. And right to Manny Ramirez. Hit hard, but into the glove of Ramirez. And Folk, it wasn't easy. But he keeps them off the board. Still 9-6. Sunday night baseball from Fenway. The Yankees trailing the Red Sox 9-6. Rubber match of the series. Don't forget now, right after the ball game, Sports Center in its entirety with John Anderson and Kevin Frazier. They got some big stories they'll be following, such as why did Ricky Williams retire? Eric Milton, a near no-hitter. He had one into the 9th inning. And the Randy Johnson trade talks heat up. That's an interesting one. And guess who won the Tour de France?
I know. I've got my yellow wristband on, which says "Live Strong."
All right. Is he a friend of yours, Lance Armstrong?
No. Well, I'm a fan.
You're a fan.
I'm not a friend.
David Ortiz, base hit into right field. Ortiz gets his second consecutive hit. He had a double off the left field wall his last time to knock in a run. Facing Brett Prinz here. So he's 2 for 4 with a walk. And Manny Ramirez is coming up.
I think the biggest problem all along, John, for the Red Sox has been allowing unearned runs. And once again, an error in the 7th inning led to 4 more unearned runs and made a ball game out of this.
Mike Messina was supposed to throw in the bullpen today. And if all went well, maybe even be ready to join the rotation or maybe go out on a rehab assignment and then come back to the rotation. But he did not throw in the bullpen today.
You know, and I found that interesting. The reason he didn't is because they don't like the mound here.
But Joe Torre also told me that throwing on flat ground yesterday, that he may have overdone it a little bit. And he woke up this morning and his elbow was a little cranky. And they're saying now they might shut down even the thought of a bullpen thing until late this coming week.
You and I have known Mike Messina since he first got to the big leagues, and this kid has always had a toughness to him. And for him to have been out this long, they have to be concerned about that.
He's hurting. Scott Proctor, young, hard-throwing right-hander up from the Yankees bullpen. He was impressive here yesterday.
Yeah, he threw 36 pitches yesterday, and some of them clocked at 98 miles an hour.
Big unit-like. Manny Ramirez, the slugger, against Brett Prinz, and that's just off the outside. Mariano Rivera has worked 3 consecutive days for the Yankees. Paul Quantrill has been working day after day. He gave Flash Gordon a day off yesterday. Of course, those guys he likes to use primarily if they're ahead late in the ball game, but especially with Rivera and maybe even Quantrill, he'd like to not use them under any circumstances today. Although sometimes Mariano Rivera, they come in and tell him, I'm fine. If you need me, use me. And there's Mariano, the great closer. And, I mean, he's having his best year so far this year, although he blew the save yesterday. Only the 2nd out of 37 that he has blown this year.
I don't imagine Joe Torre lost any sleep over that. It just proves that he is kind of human from time to time. But last year, Joe Torre didn't really have a bridge down there in the bullpen between his starting pitcher and his closer. He's got a couple of them now, and like you said, he'd like to keep them fresh because he's planning on playing into the month of October.
Quantrill and Gordon, 2 outstanding relievers. And he fouls one out. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nomar Garcia-Parra is on deck. 9-6, the Red Sox are leading here. The Yankees in the 9th inning will have A-Rod, Posada, and Matsui do up. And these Red Sox fans would not mind if they added a couple of runs to their lead before they got to the 9th inning. Manny Ramirez hitting .327 with 80 runs batted in for the year. Prinz gets him looking. Outside corner at the knees. Manny has a few words with Hunter Wendelstedt on that one. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. And Major League Baseball congratulates Dennis Eckersley and Paul Molitor on their induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, as today baseball celebrates Hall of Fame Day at all the ballparks.
Boy, excellence for a long, long time for both of those guys. Eckersley, 23 years. Molitor played at the major league level for 21. Eckersley, of course, a former Red Sox.
He was a 20-game winner for the Red Sox in 1978.
I think he's really going to change the voting as far as relievers are concerned. Eckersley, just the third pitcher who pitched the majority of his games in relief to go into the Hall of Fame.
Nomar with a soaring pop-up. Jeter. Out number 2. 2 down. Ortiz stood at first, and Kevin Millar is coming on. Dennis Eckersley had 390 saves and nearly 200 wins, most of those wins as a starting pitcher. And Paul Molitor, well over 3,000 hits and 504 steals. And no less an authority than Ted Williams said that of all the players he'd seen since, Molitor's swing was the closest he'd seen to Joe DiMaggio's swing. Wow. There's Millar. And we'll be right back. Sunday Night Baseball from Boston. Red Sox 9, Yankees 6 in the rubber match of their 3-game series. The MetLife blimp Snoopy 2 is cruising the skies of Boston to provide aerial coverage of tonight's ball game. The blimp typically cruises at a speed of 35 miles per hour at an altitude of 1,200 feet. Look to the skies for the MetLife blimp in a town near you, and we're always thrilled to have them with us. Here's Kevin Millar. Let's see if the young right-hander Scott Proctor, acquired from the Dodgers organization, the trading deadline last year, and part of the deal that sent Robin Ventura to L.A. And as you said, Rick, yesterday, he showed that he can bring it.
Well, he's showing that he can bring it on back-to-back days as well. 94 miles an hour there on the outer half of the plate. Mostly a starting pitcher throughout his minor league career. Just turned into a full-time reliever last year.
Millar, who already has 2 singles and a homer tonight, and that was just out of play. This is going to be the only ballpark where that ball's out of play. I mean, right behind third base, the stands angle over toward the foul line. In addition to being spectacular, intimate views of the action, those seats right there also afford safe haven for a pop foul, giving a hitter an extra life.
302 and 254. Home average, road average. Foul territory. You got it, pal.
And the wall. Millar pops one foul. Millar 3 for 3 in this game. And in this series, 10 for 12. Today he's had 4 RBIs, 8 RBIs in the 3 games. In the 5th inning, he launched one against Contreras. Off the Coke bottle.
Yeah, right when it seemed like Contreras was going to settle down a little bit, Millar says,
Ortiz breaks for second, and he'll make it. And the wild pitch by Proctor. So now Kevin Millar can knock in that little bit of insurance with a base hit. He had a 2-run single in the 1st, hit by a pitch in the 2nd, homered in the 5th, and had an RBI single in the 6th. That last RBI single, by the way, that was run number 9 for the Red Sox.
He could do it with a base hit, but I wouldn't hit it at any of the Yankee outfielders. You better get it kind of off to the side, because that's not Ricky Henderson out there at second base running.
Maybe a high fly ball to left that scrapes off the wall.
He got it. That'll get him in. Because there's 2 outs, and he's going to take off right away.
3-2 the count. Jeter. And that's the inning. 1 hit, 1 left. 9-6 Boston. On to the 9th. A-Rod, then Posada and Matsui. Bernie would be up 4th. Last chance for the Yanks. Rodriguez heading for the plate here at Fenway. 9-6 Red Sox, top of the 9th. Here's a look at who's gaining power, brought to you by Gillette M3 Power. But the Yankees that any team has ever had in a full season is 10 players reaching double figures. Yankees have hit 148 home runs. Matsui tonight hit his 19th, a grand slam in the 7th. He's due up third here in the 9th. A-Rod just foul right past the bag at third.
Matsui and A-Rod, 2 of the 8 All-Stars selected off Joe Torre's New York Yankee team. 8 All-Stars was the most since back in the 1950s when the Yankees had 9. Back then, of course, it was Yogis and Mickeys and Whiteys.
Of course, in those days, you only had 8 teams in the league. Popped up. The new first baseman, David McCarty, has room. And McCarty takes it. One away. Who? McCarty.
I got you.
One down, and here's Posada. So Alex Rodriguez looks a little frustrated. Yanks need a couple of base runners. And as we've just seen, they are perhaps more equipped than any other team in baseball to take a couple of base runners and then have somebody launch one to tie the ball game.
That's one of the things I respect a lot about the closer for Boston, Keith Falk, is that he is equipped to go out there and pitch more than 1 inning, which not all closers are able to do.
Here's Posada. A fly ball. There's Damon. Out number 2. 2 down. He's retired 4 in a row since he entered the game.
Well, it's been a night of comebacks for Boston. Falk, after getting a loss in Game 1 on Friday, coming back and pitching well thus far, you know, they forgot about the fight and they focused on having success. And the win that they had yesterday, coming back and beating Mariano Rivera, huge pickup tonight, and getting Derek Lowe seemingly back on track. Boston's going to need him. They're not going to get to the postseason with just Curt Schilling and Pedro Martinez.
Matsui to Damon. And the ball game is over. The Red Sox take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. Coming from behind yesterday, from way behind to win it. Beating Mariano Rivera and then jumping ahead big time early. And then withstanding the Yankees comeback. Folk, who's been slumping lately, with a 5-batter save. And that does it. Still 7.5 back of the Yankees, but feeling a little better about themselves, perhaps. Lowe, the winner over Contreras. Final score, 9-6, the Red Sox over the Yanks. Now for Rick Sutcliffe, Sam Ryan, and our entire ESPN crew, this is John Miller. Now, SportsCenter next. Good night from Boston.